Hold on a sec here. I don't know what's going on here. What the heck? Why is that like that? Hold on. Let's go there. Wow. What is this? Stand by, guys. I don't know what is going on here. Hold on. Okay. Hold on a sec. Okay. Wow. I don't know what happened there. Welcome to another edition of the Evolution of Sports Talk Television. It's the Sports Web as StreamYard is screwing up on me here. Of course, I can't do bring your passion, bring your excitement. Just don't bring any nonsense. Once again, I'm your host, Peter Blake. The roommates are sleeping tonight, but it has been a banner day if you're a Tampa Bay Buccaneer fan. So definitely want to hear from you tonight. Open phone line 727-255-0391. It's 727-255-0391 as we'll just start on Friday night as the Tampa Bay Buccaneers get back Lavonte David. I want to know what you guys think about that. Of course, that was going to go live, but did not go live to a one-year deal worth up to $10 million. Of course, to his agent, Ron Butler there told ESPN. The deal includes $9 million guaranteed. What David has to say here, what he said on Friday with this deal: I love the game too much to give up on it just yet. Good Lord blessing me with another opportunity, so I figured I should take advantage of it. Tampa, I'm not done yet. Also, in a text message to ESPN, I'm excited to get back at it. More ball to be played. So there you go. Lavonte David is back in the fold for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. And then today, the Bucs were very busy, as you saw my update there live from Policy Scout. Sorry, couldn't go live from here. That's just how it goes. 3 years, $66 million to Chris Godwin, $45 million guaranteed for Godwin. And there were reports from Warren Sharp and other outlets out there that Godwin actually turned down $20 million to come back to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. So this tells you everything you need to know about this organization and how it has become a destination for players. And I know there were a lot of people out there saying when it comes to free agency, Godwin would chase the money. He would go to the New England Patriots. They would have to overpay. There would be teams out there that would overpay. But what did I tell you? Have faith in Jason Light. Have faith in this organization that they're going to be able to get deals done. And that's exactly what they did. And that just shows you that around the league, players know when they come here and they're productive. When Baker Mayfield got re-signed, what did he do? He was productive the year before. They took care of him. Mike Evans, when he was productive and has had a productive career, they have taken care of him. That's what it comes down to. Taking care of your own players. Remember the Bucs in their heyday with Rich McKay, right? And I know there were a lot of people that were disappointed that they wouldn't sign other players outside. But what did they do to make sure their organization, their core stayed intact? It was sign their own players. So they get that done with Chris Godwin today. Amazing stuff. Not really surprised, because if you watch this show the last couple months, I kind of told you that my confidence level was a 9.8 and 9.9 that Jason Light would get this deal done. My co-host who's coming on tonight, Mr. Harry the Greek, told you never doubt Jason Light. Never doubt this organization and getting it done. 50 catches last year for over 500 receiving yards, 5 touchdowns before he had a dislocated ankle. So with that being said, that's a great signing. And then they also re-signed Ben Bredeson, who gets $7.33 million a year. Of course, Ben Bredeson, the left guard, they find him. They keep that offensive line intact. That's what you got to do. That is the difference between the good teams, the great teams, and eventually the Super Bowl winning teams when you're able to keep the offensive line intact, and that's what they're able to do today. Still have depth there with Elijah Klein, which is impressive. We'll see if he challenges for one of the guard spots, but for right now, Bredeson is your left guard. So good job by Jason Light once again. And then the big move of the day, which if you think about it, makes lots of sense. Dollars and cents. Did you see how much Khalil Mack got 1 year, $18 million? Did you see what Myles Garrett got? Of course, not traded, but re-signed with the Cleveland Browns, which, by the way, the Browns, they're not going anywhere. $40 million. You get Hassan Reddick, 30 years old, 1 year, $12 million. 1 year, $14 million, $12 million guaranteed. So a banner day for Jason Light and the crew there. I definitely want to hear from you. Open phone line, 727-255-0391. It's 727-255-0391. I found this online. There was no better pass rusher in the NFL from 20 to 23 when Reddick sacks for 3 different teams there. And of course, he had 15 and a half sacks, but his reputation took a hit when he decided to hold out for the Jets. We're going to get out to my phone lines here really quick. Caller, stand by. Let me go ahead and get out my co-host. Here we go. Professional handicapper extraordinaire of the sports web, Mr. Harry the Greek. Welcome to the evolution of sports talk television on, once again, a banner day, a legal tampering day, if you will, when it comes to the National Football League. Welcome to the evolution.
What's happening, Peter? How you doing today?
Doing good, buddy. I'm doing good. I'm trying to figure out this. Oh, there we go. There is my social media nonsense with StreamYard. And we're going to go back out to the phone lines here really quick. What's your name? Where are you calling from? You're on the evolution.
Hello, Peter. I'm a frequent caller. It's Abraham. How you doing?
What's going on, Abraham? What do you think about what the Bucs did today? We'll go out to the comments in just a moment, but I definitely want to. Yeah, go ahead.
All right. I think Jason Light hit it out of the park again.
I think you're right.
Amazing.
I think you're absolutely correct. Absolutely correct about that. And I'll go out to Harry because, Harry, your suggestion was Chase Young. A little bit younger than Reddick, but if you look at the numbers, 50 and a half sacks, 11 sacks in 2023 and 2022, 16. Of course, that was for the Philadelphia Eagles before he's traded to the Jets and holds out. Listen, it's the Jets. Just in the season, he was supposedly guaranteed or told that he was going to get a new contract. He held out, got some bad advice. But Reddick, as an edge rusher, can get after the quarterback. He's exactly what the Bucs need. Your thought?
I like Hassan Reddick. I don't like what Hassan Reddick did to the New York Jets. I don't like the way he held them captive. So that's my only reservation. Okay, now if you're going to get a Hassan Reddick who's not going to be a cancer in that locker room, yes, the Buccaneers have finally got the answer at a really good defensive end, to go ahead and apply a lot of pressure to quarterbacks. But hey, you know what? I like Jason Light. I'm never going to question what the man does. Best GM in all of football. But
Correct.
This one, I'm kind of scratching my head out a little bit. He's going to have to prove me wrong because you don't get to do that and then, get signed. But then again, he didn't bust the bank. What was it, $12 million for the single year?
Yeah, $12 million guaranteed 1 year, $14 million. And I'll convince you right now because
the Chicago Bears paid more money.
Correct.
Just to let you know, okay, for Dio out of Indianapolis. There's a reason, okay? And there were a lot of teams that were going after Hassan Reddick. So Hassan Reddick gave someone a little bit of a bargain deal.
Stand by, caller. Let me go out to the phone lines here. Stand by, Abraham. Caller, we got Abraham on the line. We'll go ahead and finish up with him. We'll get out to you, all right? I think this is Tim, right?
This is Eric.
Eric, stand by. All right, let's go ahead and finish up with Abraham. Yeah, go ahead, Abraham.
Yeah. So overall, I like all the signings. Hassan Reddick. Going back to Hassan Reddick, I just think that he didn't want to be in New York. I think he was traded, and he really didn't want to be. He was traded to a place he didn't want to be there because he was a part of the Eagles, the franchise that was, they were kicking some butt. I mean, he had an amazing season the year they went to the Super Bowl and they lost, and he's put up some good stats. But I just think he didn't want to be in New York, so he held out for a while. So hopefully he's more motivated to prove himself in a new place, and you know what? With better surrounding players and a better coaching, and hey, you got to give him a chance, benefit of the doubt. Everybody, you know what, Baker Mayfield, you know, I had the same attitude about Baker Mayfield because of what he went through, what he did, what happened to him in Cleveland.
Yeah.
Hold on. What did he do wrong in Cleveland? Hold on for a minute.
He
Hold on.
didn't
Slow
do
your roll.
nothing wrong. He didn't do
Slow
nothing
your
wrong.
roll. I never seen that man sit out, refuse to play or anything. I mean, that's not a fair assessment there.
Well, I think I think his point is what Abraham's
Yeah.
point was is that he got injured and there was a lot of expectations, but he did win the Browns. You know, that one playoff game, I think the expectations were high for Baker Mayfield to save that franchise, but that franchise can't be saved. They're a graveyard. They do stupid stuff. Myles Garrett had he said he wanted to win a Super Bowl with the Browns. They're not going anywhere. That stupid contract they signed with Deshaun Watson, that's an albatross for them. So I think the expectations were too high for Baker. And then with all that being said, to be fair to Baker, he had his inconsistencies and he also had, you know, some decision-making problems, which he's been able to overcome here in Tampa and find a home. Thank God. And thank you to the Cleveland Browns for letting him go. With all that being said, he did win their first playoff game. And, you know, to that point, Baker Mayfield wanted to prove himself for that 1 year to get that contract. I think Hassan Reddick will be in that same mindset. Well, he wants to earn that big time payday at 30 years old and will still have that opportunity, especially if he's as productive as he's been throughout the years. Now, take out again last year, 14 combined tackles, 1 sack, 2023 with the Eagles, 11 sacks, 2022 with the Eagles, 16 sacks, 2021 with the Panthers, 11 sacks, 2020 with the Cardinals, 12 and a half sacks, 59 sacks total. So he is definitely a guy that
I'm not taking anything away from the man's production.
Yeah.
You need to be apprehensive when we're talking about him and then just anointing him.
I didn't know him.
This is a man that held a team's defense hostage. Okay. They spent a lot of money for that man to go to that town. And what do you mean you didn't want to play for that team? Are you kidding me? The Jets were loaded. That defense had so much talent on it that it was just unbelievable. It was just mismanaged.
Listen,
this man from Jump Street said he didn't want to play. He's in the right organization, Pete. Okay, if anybody can straighten a player around and turn him around, it is the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. But try him out, man. You got to slow your roll a little bit because this guy to me is no difference than a prima donna Brandon Marshall. Same thing, exact thing. All the talent in the world, produced all the numbers. And then he was always with the team for a year or two, and then he was gone because of the fact of what happened.
That's a fair point, but he's also a proven commodity. On top of it, he's going to want to
I agree.
a big-time contract. And then if the organization, which the Jets, which we don't know, but you know the talk was they were going to promise him a new contract deal and didn't get him that new contract, then of course the player is going to be upset. Did he handle it the right way? No, he didn't. But I think you're exactly right. You hit the nail on the head there. He went to the perfect organization. Abraham, anything else as we get out to Eric?
Yeah, so I agree with what Harry's saying. I'm not trying to, I'm not trying to say that I'm not trying to diss the Jets organization, and I'm not trying to diss Baker Mayfield. I'm just saying let him prove himself this year. And if he can do a good job and show he's a team player, you know what, he'll earn a big contract. That's all I was trying to get at. That's all. Just show a comparison.
Love it.
But one thing, can I add one more thing? That's it. Then before you let me go.
Yeah, use a second call if you want to. By the way.
All right. Yeah. So I like the Bredeson signing because, you know what, he provides valuable depth in all 3 interior positions, which he's played at. So even if he loses the starting position, you got somebody who can fill in immediately for either position, either guard spot or center spot. So I think that's another solid signing along with Godwin. And, so, yeah, I mean, I'll use a second call, but sorry for the misunderstanding, Harry. But
no, there was no misunderstanding. This is what this show is all about. We want to hear everybody's opinions. We want to go ahead and talk. But, the thing is we just talk. This is the way it is. This is what makes the show as good as it is.
I'm just showing a comparison, and I just give the man a chance to prove himself in Tampa.
I love it, and I like
the best signing that Tampa has made wasn't the re-signing of Godwin. It definitely wasn't, in my opinion.
Reddick.
I'm in love with Bredeson. Are you kidding me?
Good move.
Woo! Hold on, baby. That's all I'm going to say. Hold on.
Woo! It's a good move. It keeps that offensive line intact. He definitely proved himself last year coming over from the New York Giants. Remember, a 4th-round pick from the Baltimore Ravens just in 2020. played well. And once again, it's all about the continuity, keeping that offensive line together. That is key, that Jason Light has those roots. He's always had those roots ever since he was in that Patriots organization. Abraham, appreciate the call. Use that second one if you like to, my friend. All right?
No problem, Peter.
All right,
Thanks.
man. Let's go out to
Good
Eric
call.
here. Absolutely, always. Eric, say it, man. Say what we always say here on the Sports Web, seeing as I can't say it because my roommates are sleeping.
Bring the passion. Bring the excitement. Just don't bring any nonsense, Peter. How you doing, Peter and
I'm
Harry?
doing good, buddy. I'm doing good.
What's up, Eric? How you doing, man?
Today?
I'm hanging in there, man. I was telling my buddy, hey, I was on my way back home and I saw Godwin back. I'm like, oh yes. And I saw we signed Hassan Reddick. I think Reddick can get 9-10 sacks. I think that will be maybe even more.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Maybe Yaya can get in that double digit, take some pressure off Cansey and Vita.
Well, here's what you got to love about this, guys. Okay, so you get Reddick, and I'll go full screen on this because I want to make a point of emphasis. You get Reddick in the fold there. You've got Yaya Diaby, who wants to prove himself as an elite pass rusher. And then remember, you have the big two guys in the middle there with Vea and Kalijah Cansey, who are highly productive. So both of those guys are going to take the pressure off the outside. And then if they decide to try to double on the outside there, you've got the inside guys. So this definitely solidifies their line. I know what you're saying, Harry. Don't annoy them, but he's a proven edge rusher. When he's motivated, I think Todd Bowles, the being familiar with Larry Foote, working with him in Arizona, this is a slam dunk move on the emphasis of it's only a 1-year contract. It's not that much money. It's not as much money as Khalil Mack. He's a younger player, and he didn't have to give up any draft capital. And look, Harry, you told me, don't jump off the bridge here. Don't jump off the skyway. Don't try to put all your chips and or order your eggs in one basket for a Myles Garrett or Trey Hendrickson, and now you don't necessarily have to with getting Reddick. Go ahead.
I'm listening.
Go ahead, Eric.
You think that takes us out of the Joey Bosa sweepstakes?
I think Joey Bosa is going to join his brother there in San Francisco. I think they're going to get the Bosa brothers back together. I think that's always the goal at this point. And what Joey Bosa, as much as I like him, he is also a proven commodity, but he's not been able to stay healthy over the years. And look, he may be able to do that with San Francisco, but I'm just not sure. When you get a player that gets older, the injuries get even worse and they become lingering. And I just think, the money wise, I think the Bucs are going to go and address this at 19 if there's an edge rusher on the board, or you go Campbell, which you can also use him possibly as an edge rusher. You use him as a middle linebacker or a future guy that's going to complement Levante David, somebody to take over with Savassi Dennis, and then you can also use him on the edge because a lot like Devin White, he can definitely rush off the edge and get to the quarterback. He has that knack of doing that, and plus on top of it, Todd Bowles can be very creative with those athletic linebackers. So I could see Campbell at 19, go with the Mike Green from Marshall. Corner, see, I think corner is overblown unless they decide to move on from Dean. I think your back end is what your front end is. If your front end gets better, your back end gets better. Make sense?
Yep.
That's not even that's an understatement. If your front end is getting pressure, you can take a below average secondary and make them look really good.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yep.
Agree with that. All right, Eric, what else?
Bucs 13-4 and Super Bowl champions next year. Book it.
Love it. All right, good stuff there. Let me give you the Macho Man.
Oh, yeah.
He said 13-4 and NFC champions. So I like that, Eric. Coming out swinging right there. Use that second call if you want to, my friend. All right?
All right, later.
Phone lines are open. 727-255-0391. It's 727-255-0391. Going back to the Chris Godwin signing, of course, there was going to be $18 million in dead cap. Now, according to Greg Auman on X, by signing Godwin to a new deal before his old one expired, the cap hits in a void year, stay in their individual years, basically keeps $11 million in dead money. 2026 and 2027 helps with cap flexibility this year. This is what Jason Light had to say, and I'm going to get your thoughts here, Harry, on the Godwin signing, because again, various reports said that Godwin turned down possibly $20 million more than what he could have got from the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. In fact, the New England Patriots, there was a report out there, I think it's more Godwin's agent, saying you got $27 million a year. Jason Light says Chris has been crucial to our success. He remains a part of our offensive core in the future. He has unparalleled work ethic, is a tremendous leader, a pro in every sense of the word. His versatility, combination with his playmaking ability, consistency makes him a perfect fit for our offense. And you look at it from the standpoint of now you have Evans, you have Godwin, and you have, Jalen McMillan, who stepped up last year. Chris Godwin re-signing with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. You weren't surprised by it. I wasn't surprised by it. All we heard from the national media pundits was he's going to get all this money. He's going to go to the Patriots. And we said, look, Jason Light and this organization will figure it out somehow, some way, because they always take care of their own players. And that is a model organization. That's where Tampa Bay becomes a destination for future players coming in, correct?
Yes, I'd have to agree with that, Pete. I mean, look, they've done such a good job of trying to retain the players. Do I believe that he was offered $20 million more and didn't take it? I don't know. Things can be exaggerated a little bit, especially coming after an injury like that. Nobody knows what he's going to be like. But what it does tell you, Pete, is the people that he's playing with. It tells you about the culture and the organization that he's being around, and just the team building, that they have. This isn't a team that's rebuilding. This is a team that already rebuilt. Now they're just adding strategic pieces to make them better. They have the boys back. They were really, really good, almost devastating with that passing attack. And now you're adding Godwin back to the mix. God willing, he stays healthy. He doesn't lose any of his shiftiness. This offense should not even miss a beat from where it was last year. Great signing. Hats off to the organization. But do I think he was offered $20 million more and he took it? No, I don't. I'm just being realistic. At some point in time, that's a lot of money. $5 million? Yeah, I can see giving someone a discount, not 20. Okay.
All right. And this is according
yes, I agree.
Chris Godwin left millions on the table by re-signing with the Bucs. The Patriots went hard on Godwin, offered him much more than the Bucs, but ultimately Godwin wanted to stay in Tampa and sign for less. Let's go.
And you know what? There's other teams that were interested in him too, by the way.
What's up, boys?
Absolutely. What's going on, buddy? How you doing?
Well, doing great, man. It's a great day in Tampa Bay.
It is definitely a great day in Tampa Bay.
What do you think about the fake news about the running back? That was funny.
Samaji Perine, which was reported, I believe, by Aaron Wilson on Twitter, and then Jason Light with all his receipts says, no, we did not sign him because
Why would they want him back? They got rid of him in the first place.
No, they didn't get rid of Perine, but they already have a full running back room. That would be the Bucs with.
I thought Perine started his career in Tampa Bay.
I don't believe he did, but I can look.
Almost positive.
It was a $22 million deal. It was a $22 million 3-year deal. It was a crazy number. Yeah,
no. Let me look at this here.
He needs to stay in Kansas City.
Yeah, he actually did. He did. I think
he got a really good running back room.
Let's see here. Hold on a sec.
Hey guys, what do you think about the boy Reddick? How do you think he can do this year for the Bucs, man? How do you feel about Reddick?
I think Hassan's going to be a good player. It's going to be a great addition for this team. Hassan Reddick has always been a proven edge rusher. The guy's a team leader. But, I have to start questioning some of his leadership abilities now, considering what happened over with the New York Jets. But there is a positive over this whole thing, Eric. You know what it is? Eric, you asked me a question. Want me to finish it?
Sorry.
Okay. When he was over when he was with the New York Jets, my only question is his lack of leadership. I just got done saying what kind of a leader he was because of all the sacks. He did very well for Philadelphia. But anybody that can hold a team hostage and just says, you know what, I'm not going to play for you, and then gets rewarded somewhere else, I'd have to be a little apprehensive. I'm optimistic, but cautiously would be the correct word.
I think that's a fair point because of what he did last year, only having 1 sack. But, the majority of that season, he held out. Again, 59 sacks. I'm excited about the move. I think you get a proven edge rusher at the end of the day. I think you get him at an affordable rate. And I think you get somebody that's going to be motivated to want to be productive and will have that opportunity to be productive with the players on that defensive line in that Todd Bowles defense. Go ahead, Eric.
Is this a Super Bowl team now?
Of course it is. This
Super Bowl?
is a Super Bowl team. The window, in my opinion, is definitely open, and that's the reason why you make these moves. You still need to make some moves here.
A couple of pieces on that secondary, and yes, you should be talking about that type of run.
We have to wait for Wednesday to get for the Winfield contract, the Tristan Wirfs contract, and the Jamal Dean to get restructured.
Well, they're gonna have to restructure those contracts in order to free up some money.
Do you think Dean get released, or do you think White is out the door, the running back? Do you think he's getting traded?
No,
released?
I don't know about Rashad White. I think they still want to keep him. Although, excuse me, there was a report out there that it certainly seems like this Bucs organization really likes Sean Tucker, as they should. He has lots of potential. White is their best catch passing back, so maybe he's on the trade block. But for right now, and that's why the Perrine move didn't make any sense in the first place, because you have a full running back room there with, of course, White and Bucky Irving, the number one back. But it certainly seems like, just listening to various reports here, that they really like Sean Tucker and his potential. As I said before, he has to learn pass pro. He's got to do a better job of catching the ball consistently. And on top of that, not putting the ball on the ground, because we saw that, and that will not work for a Todd Bowles-led team, especially a defensive-minded coach who's somewhat conservative. You can never turn over the ball, and that's what Tucker had a problem with last year. So,
and I need to stand corrected. I just a friend of mine that works for ESPN Radio has just texted me, and it did confirm that Godwin did turn down $20 million extra. However, there was an extra year on that deal, and he didn't want to sign for that amount of time.
Right. And again, goes back, Eric, it goes back to this, and I continue to say this, and the reason why Godwin would get a lot of money and be a number one wide receiver is because it's a bad team. The Patriots are not a good team. They have a new coach. They're rebuilding. You have a second-year quarterback. So those bad teams have to overpay.
I heard it was a starting deal between $25 to $20 million a year. I heard that was the starting.
It was 26 to 27. Again, that's been thrown out there, and there's various reports that he turned down $20 million. But this is
he turned down $20 million, but people were leaving out. There was one more year on that deal.
Oh, there you go, and that's what complicates things.
That killed it.
That killed it. And then go ahead, Eric.
Plus, you have to pay more money because it's not a tax-free state, right? It's not tax-free.
Well, yeah, you definitely take advantage of that with Florida being, yes, income tax-free. Yes, absolutely. That's an advantage to Florida. Eric, appreciate the call, man. As always, use that second call. Open phone line, 727-255-0391. It's 727-255-0391. That's why I always go to fans here. Enjoy this golden age. You think I'm joking about this, but when you have a professional like Mike Evans, who's highly productive, who's a professional on and off the field, he's not a diva, restructuring contracts, signing new contracts to try to make the team better. When you have Chris Godwin, who is a professional on and off the field, you've got a combination of both of those wide receivers on this team. Enjoy the moment, Bucs fans, because you barely ever see that. Let's go out to the phone lines. I believe this is Tim. Hello, welcome to the Evolution.
Hey, Peter, what's up?
Oh, what's going on, Sarah? I'm sorry. I got my numbers confused there. Sarah, welcome to the Sports Web. You're on with yours truly, along with Harry the Greek.
What's up, Harry? How are you guys doing today?
I'm doing great. Thanks for calling in. What you got?
This is the best Monday on the planet. We are literally setting the tone. Godwin came in strong today. It is so nice with Levante David and Godwin, with Wirtz coming up. All the other boys, they're going to re-sign, they're going to restructure, and it's just setting the tone right now. And then we're adding other key elements, which is phenomenal. Like, it's been the best Monday on the planet. I cannot wait. Like, everything is just falling into place right now.
It is falling into place. And Sarah, I don't think you had any doubts, because we told you on this show that you believe in Jason Light, believe in what this organization does, because the great thing is they always take care of their own players. And I hearken back and I go back into a time machine. I think that's what made Rich McKay a great general manager for the Bucs there with Tony Dungy, because they sign their own players. When you're a productive player on this team, they take care of you. And players around the league, they understand that, and they want to embrace this culture. They want to be a part of that organization, just because they put that out there, and they do that almost every year. They take care of their own players, And of course, the championship window is wide open, and we'll see what happens. Mr. Williams, I see you're calling in. Just stand by.
It's so right there for us. And like, it's not even just like our culture in Tampa Bay. It's not just that. It's the players believe in each other. Like, our boys are back in town. Like, they know what they can do. Like, you guys were talking about the running back position and like how stacked it is. I'm kind of worried a little bit being so stacked on the running back position, but I think that they're going to be using.
It's a good problem to have. It's a good problem to have. So there's no worry at this point. I mean, only people are worried about that is the people that are favoring that want to see, White get more catches or more carries than Bucky Irving. At this point, Bucky Irving is going to be your number one back. And deservingly so, the way he played last year. White is going to be your pass catching back, and I would not be surprised if Tucker is able to push White and, of course, learn, those intricacies, if you will, Leo word, of the offense with pass protection and catching the ball consistently, that eventually he would not overtake White. But it's a good problem to have because, as we know,
totally agree.
Knock on wood, running back injuries happen. You need more than one running back. You need at least 2 to 3.
Dude, we've lived through them for sure. We've definitely been through them. So
absolutely
for a while, but
absolutely.
I love it. I love everything that's going on. Like, I was with my son at Enterprise Village and the Buccaneers are in there, and literally my phone just starts beeping and beeping and beeping, and it's all about Godwin. And I'm like, oh my gosh, my kid and I are like jumping up and down in front of the Buccaneers place at Enterprise Village, which is so cool.
Awesome.
It was the best Monday to ever have, and I'm just so stoked. I'm wondering what we're gonna do with Joe. I can never say his last name.
Joe Tryon, JTS, he's gone. He's a free agent at this point. I would doubt that he has much value. Who knows? Maybe the Bucs bring him back, but I doubt it. I think the Bucs are ready to move on from him. That's the reason why you get Reddick in the first place. That's the reason why you may re-sign an Anthony Nelson, and you may double dip. Not only do you go into free agency, but also at 19, if there's a Mike Green on the board at a Marshall or there's somebody like that, then maybe you take them, or you address the linebacking situation because you need that also, because the Bucs are not going to re-sign any of their depth linebackers. This is reported by Pewter Report last night.
Well, I am super stoked about the Hassan sign because I do think, like, with him at the Jets, like, I just don't feel like there was any meat on the bone there. Like, he was just spinning tires. Yeah. So, like, now he has a really good option to come. He's coming to us. He knows that he can make the plays and show up and show out. And we can go get ourselves a ring in Tampa Bay.
There you go. That's what it's all about, Sarah. Great stuff. Anything else here on your mind?
Nope. Just good to talk to you. This off season's been killing me. Can't wait to see you guys and just, get it started again. Like, this is all just really best Monday ever. I'm loving it.
It just started. The legal tampering period just started. Free agency officially starts the new league year at 4:00. So the Bucs are definitely not done. Don't be surprised, Sarah, if they restructure some contracts and, try to spend some money on some more players. We shall see what Jason Light and that Tampa Bay Buccaneer organization has in store for us.
Wait.
And we got you covered here on the Evolution. All right.
Worse is definitely not going anywhere. He can't wait to be back with the boys. Like, it's happening right now. So I'm just staying close to my phone and listening for updates, man.
I got you.
Listen, you guys be well, and let's go Tampa Bay. Let's go Bucs.
There you go. Go Bucs right there. Go Bucs.
Let's go! How about them Bucs, baby?
Go Bucs. All right, there you go. I know Mr. Williams is trying to call, so Mr. Williams, call back. Open phone line, 727-255-0391. It's 727-255-0391. Trying to keep a low tone here. It's kind of difficult because my roommates are sleeping. So you'll have to apologize if I sound like I'm hoarse or something along those lines. I'm definitely
Actually, I kind of like this new you.
Yeah, I bet you do. I don't know what's going on with Twitter right now. Issue. We'll keep trying. I guess so. Twitter right now is freezing up, and that's on Twitter's end. So we'll see how that works. But Roger Shue says, first as always,
acknowledge me.
Let's go out to Roger again. Hopefully we have some great co-hosts tonight. We're going to have Harry the Greek on with us as long as he wants to be. And then we'll have Leo Haggerty at 9:00. And most likely every Monday and Wednesday nights, we'll have Leo Haggerty at 9. So we'll come up with some different co-hosts here in the next couple shows. KR says, hey, Peter and the crew. Welcome back, Chris Godwin and Hassan Reddick to the crew. Jason Light is a masterclass per usual. Go Bucs. Absolutely go Bucs. Let's go! Tim says, good evening, Peter. Thank you very much for tuning in, Tim.
Oh, yeah.
Let's go out to David. How about them Bucs? How about those Bucs?
How about them Bucks, baby?
Let's go out to Christopher Cole. Evans, Godwin, and McMillan will be dominant. I mean, you think about this offense. I know it's on paper right now, but you saw what Godwin was doing at the beginning of the year before the injury. We know what Evans can bring. He wants to eclipse Jerry Rice in that consecutive 1,000-yard. Let's go out to Mr. Williams. He's ready to talk to. He's ready for his chicken wings. Mr. Williams, welcome to the Evolution.
Good afternoon. Good afternoon.
Well, good night, good afternoon, whatever you want to call it, my friend. Yes. What's up?
All right. First of all, hats off to my GM.
Okay.
Appreciate your good job there.
Okay.
All right. Everybody, I hope they knew Chris wasn't going to take that deal from the Patriots. That's a no-no.
Well, yeah.
It sounded good.
Mhm.
It sounded all good.
Right.
That wasn't going to happen.
Right.
Yeah, that wasn't going to happen. Once a book, always a book.
Right.
You're going to end here.
Put me in the back for a minute.
Yeah, no problem.
All right.
Stand by.
All right, Levante Davis, okay, 14 seasons, buddy. Hey, man, you's a real diehard. You're going to always be a Tampa Bay Buck. They might as well get you a jacket because you in a line of your own. But anyway, on me saying that, now this young man that we just drafted, this new edge rusher that came from the Jets.
Okay, Reddick.
Yeah, first of all, you ain't gonna come over here and be disruptive.
Well, listen, I think, again, it's unfair to say this guy's been disruptive. He had a 1 year where he was.
But he hold out.
Well,
okay.
he held out, but he was promised. Okay, but it was also promised some type of contract, some new contract with the Jets. That was the talk. That's the reason why he held out. Is it?
You are correct, Peter, but he was also asked to get on the field and work through it. Just like 100% of the other players that go through that process. You're not expected to miss team meetings. You're not expected to do this. And Mr. Jones, you're absolutely correct. I just honestly think that he is going to be fine here in Tampa Bay.
Oh, yeah. Now, don't get me wrong. Now, he did do a hell of a job for the Eagles. He did do that.
Sure.
Because
he did a hell of a listen. He not only did a hell of a job for the Eagles because he had 11 sacks in 2023. 2022 had 16. You also forget he was on the Panthers, and 2021 had 11 sacks, and for the Cardinals had 12.5 sacks. So maybe he's been somewhat of a mercenary, if you will, when it comes to moving on to teams. That just means teams want you, and that you're a productive player. So, and he'll have that opportunity next year if he's able to be productive, Mr. Williams.
Oh, yeah, man. I really do believe in my head coach that he's going to put him in a good position to where he can help out Shaq Barrett and Levante Davis.
Right.
So we can get more rush on the quarterback and get some of the pressure off of Vita Bear and Canty. But hey, Yaya Diaby, that's my guy, man. That guy really, he's been very impressive, man, this whole season. Man.
Well, he definitely needs to do a lot better than 3.5 sacks. He was a little bit injured. He said in the offseason he wants to become a legit edge rusher at this point. So we'll see what he has the opportunity to do in his third year.
Brother Bucky, man, hey, keep on doing what you're doing, man. You're gonna be a amazing running back, man. You keep on doing what you're doing, bro. can I take my hat off to Bucky Irvin, man?
Absolutely, of course you can. And I think that's one of the most exciting aspects of this offense coming in and see what he did. He's going to be your number one bell cow running back. The Bucs love him. They're going to give him every opportunity to be as productive as he can be. And again, I think it's a good problem to have the two other running backs in that room in case there is an injury. Knock on wood. Hopefully there's not. All right, Mr. Williams, anything else?
Yeah, but one more thing, but I won't chase into a reconstruction some of these other contracts so we can work on my secondary because I do need more help right now.
Yeah, absolutely. You're definitely going to have to.
Do need more help right there in the secondary. We're going to, Mike Evans, we're going to keep it going, man.
Yep. All right, Mr. Williams.
All right, man. Appreciate you.
Appreciate the call. Let's go out to the phone lines here. What's your name? Where you calling from? You're on the Evolution.
Yes, I'm using my cashing on my second phone call. This is Abraham again.
All right, what's going on, Abraham?
So I wanted to get back on the conversation y'all had about Rachaad White.
Okay.
From what I've read online, well, I mean, most of because I do read up.
Sure.
Somebody is trying to spread that rumor so that they can get Rachaad on their team. But Rachaad White, in my opinion, he's a valuable asset to the Bucs because he's an excellent blocker in a pass blocker. He's a great receiver. I mean, he can, and he's really good in the outside run. He's like, Bucky's Mr. Inside, and Bucky's, he can do a lot of things. But Rachaad has skills. He reminds me a lot of Deebo Samuel, and so I don't know why people are saying they're gonna. But the thing is, you can never have enough good running backs in your stable. I mean,
correct.
Detroit has a 1-2 punch, Montgomery and Jahmyr Gibbs, and they have another backup right there. Yeah. Even Miami had three running backs, and Josh Grizzard came from the Miami school, so he's a big on like running backs, and so I don't understand where's all this coming from, but I don't think Bucs have no plans of getting rid of Rachaad White.
Well, let me give some clarity here, and I know there's some Bucs fans that would like him traded because there is some value with him, and this was talked about with the Myles Garrett stuff. Now you don't have to worry about that because Myles Garrett re-signed with the Browns for $40 million a year. Obviously, he doesn't want to win a Super Bowl or go anywhere. He just wants to get paid, and that's what he did. But going back to it, Matthew Berry said this on Pro Football Talk that not only were the Bucs just loving talking about how Bucky Irving how they love him and love what he does and what he brings to the table, but also they really like some people in this organization really are impressed with Sean Tucker. And they think he has lots of potential to be eventually the second back. So, and we've seen it. We've seen it there. We saw it in the Saints game, but we've also found the downside of Tucker where he puts the ball on the ground, where he's not necessarily the best pass protection. And the reason why that's so important, where you have to have that running back that knows all that, is because you want to keep him on the field. If you know that he's limited in what he can do, and he's on the field, then first and foremost, it's a dead giveaway. You're not passing the ball. You're running with him when he's on the field. So you're limited in that scope. With that being said, White is so good at all those things. I think he's definitely their best pass catching back, and that's the value there. And of course, he can get outside and has been somewhat productive. Obviously, Bucky's your number one running back right now. White is too. But don't be surprised, according to Barry of Pro Football Talk, that Sean Tucker makes a move because some in this Buccaneer organization really like the potential that he has.
Yeah, I just think it's just I wish they wouldn't jump the gun and just say that because you know what? I think Sean Tucker still has to prove work on certain parts of his game. So he's shown flashes of brilliance, but I am not going to ready to say that he's going to take over for White yet. Plus, White reminds me a lot of Deebo Samuel because he's the skill sets he has.
Right.
Maybe he can move outside to a receiver spot too. I mean, you don't have to get running back, get enough. But I don't know. But I mean, that's from what I've seen, he's got a lot of receiver kind of skills. The way he lines up at receiver, he's able to catch a deep pass. He's with the screen passes. I mean, I know he struggled with the inside runs, but he's dangerous when the ball's in his hand, and he's got open field. So that's all I got.
He absolutely is dangerous. Abraham, thanks a lot for the call. Anything else here on the Evolution?
Oh yeah, one more thing. As far as cornerbacks, I don't know what. I mean, let me say something. You know, the best ability for Jamel Dean is availability.
Well, that's been the
And
case
the
for
way-
Carlton Davis, right? And Carlton Davis is now not only a Detroit Lion, but he's a New England Patriot. Why? Because he's not able to stay on the field. It's not taking away from Dean. Dean is very talented. He's very inconsistent. I know he drives a lot of Bucs fans crazy with his tackling and, you know, some of his efforts sometimes with being a cover corner and putting him in the zone, because that's one of his weaknesses, but he's not able to stay on the field. That's the reason why he got rid of Carlton Davis. And oh, by the way, that's the reason why the Lions got rid of Davis in the first place, because he can't stay on the field consistently. So don't be surprised that the Bucs restructured that contract, or maybe they move on from him and go into free agency and pick up somebody else. I would say that they keep Dean, but they keep him under a restructured deal at this point.
You really think so?
I mean,
yeah, I do. Because I think this deep, listen, you say whatever you want to about Dean, but when he missed, and maybe this is not saying much about the Bucs depth, and this is where you address this in the second or third round, where you get a corner. And I remember Tony Dungy, and this is from Joe Bucs fan. Every year, Tony Dungy would say you draft a corner, because corners, you need that. They're important. They're absolutely important with, you know, a passing league. You get a corner, because if you don't, then you end up playing a guy like Josh Hayes, who's a rookie. Maybe he turns out to be great, but last year he was not good. The other kid they had, he was not good. Funderburk. When you have those injuries, so you may still address that in the draft. It just depends. But this defense was a lot better when Dean was in the fold, if that's fair.
Yeah, I understand the talent is there, but then I wish we were able to get Tyreek Funderburk, because Seattle's trying to get rid of him, and because he doesn't fit their scheme anymore, and he fits Tampa's scheme. So because of his size, his length, he's a ball hawk, but that's just a dream, I guess. But I've heard in some reports, computer report that I read, that Funderburk is maybe a good possibility, you know, maybe a good scheme fit for Tampa. But I mean, that's all I'm just got to say on this. But my biggest concern is the injuries that Dean has. So we need depth, and we need. I'm not sold on Servasi Dennis 100% because he's injured a lot.
I think that's fair.
So
I think it's fair. He's got to show it. He's got to show it.
So inside linebacker is another area of need. So I'm just being a realist. So
I think he's gonna have a breakout season this year.
I think you could be correct about that if he could stay healthy. Abraham, appreciate the call. I mean, that's the big time deal for me, but I definitely feel like he is in the plans of this Tampa Bay Buccaneer defense, especially what he showed in that small sample size for this Tampa Bay defense. Open phone line, 727-255-0391. It's 727-255-0391. It's the Sports Web. I'm your host, Peter Blake, along with Harry the Greek. I'm going to allow you to give the number out so I'm not too loud. Let's go out to Curtis. Curtis, welcome to the Evolution. You're on with yours truly, along with Mr. Harry the Greek, after a banner day for your Tampa Bay Buccaneers as they re-sign Godwin, Bredeson, and also Ink Reddick. Your thoughts? Welcome.
What's up, guys? How y'all guys doing?
I'm doing great, buddy. How you doing?
I'm doing all right. I'm listening to everybody and talking about Rashad White, all this. Listen, injuries is part of the game. You got to remember, is Harris still here?
Oh, yeah.
Harry, how long ago was it we were playing 14 games a season? Wasn't that in the 80s?
Yeah, it's been a while.
Yeah, but you've gone from 14 games to 16 games to 17 games, and they're even possibly talking about 18 games. That's a lot of wear and tear on your body.
That's it. It is.
You need 2 and 3 running backs.
They need to increase the roster as well.
Exactly.
Well, not only need to increase the roster, and you look at the injury situation, it's because the players are not getting the reps that they used to get. So you have those hamstring injuries. And of course, when you have those soft tissue hamstring injuries, they become lingering issues, which hurts your football team. So Harry's exactly right. You have to expand the roster. And it's a good problem to have with the 3 running backs. Yes.
If you go back to last year, how many games did we play where we were beat up on both sides of the ball?
Many.
And we were still competitive.
Yes. Agree.
I mean, like, come on, people, watch the game. Stop watching football with your feelings and emotions and watch the damn game.
Well, there's just still people out there, and there's one who he knows who he is, who will continue to say, well, they got Reddick today, so they're going to play him out in zone. And the reason why you play your defensive players out in the zone is not only to confuse the quarterback, but because you're not getting enough pressure consistently. That's what Reddick brings to the party,
They're
Jamie.
going to use Reddick the same way they use Shaq Barrett.
I hope they do. I hope they absolutely do. And they may bring back Shaq Barrett. Maybe Shaq Barrett comes back, or once again, they double dip there. But you can never have, in my opinion, enough edge rushers, especially young ones.
And the problem, a lot of the problems with this team last year was when you had the depth. The problem was everybody was beat up.
And not only that, you have to compromise your defensive scheme and do some different things like zone and like playing defensive linemen back out in zone. And you had the blitz of some other places you don't necessarily want it to. And it freed up, one-on-one coverage with players like Josh Hayes and Funderburk. And that's why Dean is so important, because Dean can play man-to-man. I don't necessarily think he's the best zone corner.
Who is the cornerback everybody's raving about in the draft coming up?
I'm trying to think right now.
It's some kid. He's like 6'3", right?
Yes. Well, I think you're talking about the safety from South Carolina.
Yeah, but they say he can play like every position in the secondary.
Well, I mean, maybe that's a situation you go with. Maybe Jason Light trades down, because Jason Light has been known to trade down, accumulate picks, if you will, and fill those need positions. Could you see him trading down and maybe going with the corner? And I know it's early, so you can change your mind here in about a month and a half when the draft is on, or do you see him staying put at 19, taking the best player on the board?
I see him staying at 19, taking the best player that they have on the board, especially if it's defense.
Yeah.
Without question. Yeah.
Yeah.
Listen, I'm excited. I'm excited for Godwin. He's coming back healthy. Definitely excited for that. I'm excited for the left guard that we got. Definitely excited for that.
Well, yeah, I mean,
his offensive line can't do anything but get better.
I think Bredeson was great last year. He was a pleasant surprise, and once again, it's a testament to Jason Light finding a player basically off the scrap heap, which is what it is with the New York Giants. Sorry, Andrew, but it's a scrap heap right now. You find a player off the scrap heap, and he starts for you every game and is very productive, and that offensive line gets better with him, and that's the reason why you take care of him in the first place.
So I'm excited for the re-signings, but I'm me. I need to see it for myself.
What do you think about the Reddick signing? Did you like Reddick with 59 sacks coming in here on a 1-year deal?
He still has to prove it.
Okay.
He still has to go out there and put it on the field.
I mean, listen, it's not like a guy that has 25 sacks or 30 sacks. He has 59 sacks, so he's been able to do it.
No. I respect his talent. I respect everything that he's done.
Right.
But we're talking about now. I'm not talking about then.
Okay, that's fair.
I'm ready to see what he's going to do now. I mean, that's like, okay, Harry. I'm going to use Harry as an example. I got a buddy that I'm working with now. I'm at work now. Huge Chicago Bears fan. Y'all signed, 3 offensive linemen this offseason already?
3 offensive linemen. They completely revamped that offensive line. They got Dahlman, Thuney, and Jonah Jackson. Are you kidding?
I mean, and that's what you do with your
nobody. And again, I'm not trying to take anything away from Tampa Bay. Nobody has had a day like what the Bears had.
No.
And then on top of it, they haven't gotten rid of Tevin Jenkins. And, you ready? Grady Jarrett. And a guy by the name of Doyo. I can't even pronounce the guy's name on defense. Nice edge rusher.
I was watching it, and I'm like, is nobody paying attention to what the Bears are doing?
No.
They have literally revamped their whole offensive line.
Right.
No, they did.
And it makes sense because Williams got hit
68 times.
68 times for a quarterback. You can ruin a quarterback.
He was sacked 68 times. He was hit 140.
Wow.
Okay, let me be clear. And by the way, he started every single game for Chicago this past year. And you know what's really cool? All the speculation. That's why everybody likes talking about the draft. They're talking about the Boise State kid coming in as a running back, John T. I hope they don't go after him. I know he's a phenomenal talent. I want that unsexy pick. Just complete that offensive line. Just draft that really stud left tackle and just be done.
When y'all got the guy from Atlanta earlier, the center, I was like, that was such a great pick for y'all. I was like,
Dahlman,
Yeah, and then you also get Grady. You get defensive tackle Grady Jarrett, which is going to weaken the Atlanta Falcons. And once again, it goes back to what we talk about. When you pay a Kirk Cousins that amount of money, that limits you as a franchise to keep your own players. That's the reason why Bucs fans should be excited about what has happened for the not only today, but the last 5 years has transpired with this team. It's become a consistent factor. They take care of their own players no matter what. If you're productive, they want to keep you. They take care of you.
Listen, I'm going to just say this right now.
Yeah.
Jason Light can go in a Ring of Honor right now.
I agree.
Ring of Honor today.
He may be the great.
There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it.
Is he the best general manager over Rich McKay right now?
Oh, it's not even close. Rich McKay was great, but this guy's at another level.
Absolutely.
I agree.
Absolutely.
I agree.
Absolutely. Dude, listen, I'm ready for him to kick Roger Goodell out and he can become the commissioner of the NFL.
No, don't say that. Just allow him to be the general manager for as long as he wants to for the
No,
Bucs.
no, but I'm just saying, everybody's like either on the fence.
Look, man, it was just a couple of years ago. There was just a couple of years ago that they're talking about Tampa Bay's just going to have to go through a complete rebuild because Tom Brady left.
Right. Right.
They still won the division.
Yep. And you're able to handle that Tom Brady, that cap hit to perfection because you've been able to win the NFC South the last 4 years here, make the playoffs 5 years in a row. And for a Bucs fan, that may not seem like a big deal, but if you're a true blue diehard Bucs fan, enjoy these moments, my friends. Enjoy.
I mean, like I try to get people to understand.
Yeah.
They went to Kansas City. They took Kansas City to overtime. No Mike Evans.
Yes.
No Chris Godwin.
Mm-hmm.
I think Bucky or Rashad was hurt that game. Cade Otton had a great game.
Yep.
Great game. And I mean, come on, we're a couple pieces away. You're right. The Super Bowl window is open for this team.
Yes.
You have to stay healthy.
That's
all it is.
You're absolutely correct.
You have to stay healthy. You got to put it together.
That's the whole key for any team in the National Football League, especially when the window's open.
Don't say any team because I think Cleveland could be healthy all year.
No. That could be for any. You didn't let me finish though. That's like you could say that about any team that is in the Super Bowl window. They have to stay healthy. I mean, look what happened to San Francisco. You want to talk about a team that was dominated? That's the best team in football. It wasn't even close.
Yep.
Okay. Yep. And you just can't stay healthy. Well, sayonara, ladies. That's what happens.
Yeah, like what? Detroit had 13 players on IR?
More.
Yes.
More. That was defense.
Yeah.
That was defense. Yeah, it's just defense. And they were picking people off the scrap heap. Jamal Adams. When the hell was the last time you heard his name?
I have no idea.
Shit, man. They had people bagging groceries at Jules and AMP playing corner.
All right.
For real.
I tell you what, it's going to be a very interesting season. Like we say this every year, and every year the seasons are getting better and better.
Well, listen, and again, it can't be understated what not only Jason Light and this organization do in free agency, but what they do in the draft. And it's not just the first or second round picks; it's the third, it's the fourth, it's the fifth.
It's the third. Well, think about it. Okay, and I know you guys got to go. I know other people want to call in.
It's okay, Curtis. Take your time.
Listen, I don't. Like people are always like first round corners. I don't want a corner in the first round. We took Vernon Hargraves the last time we took a cornerback in the first round. I don't want him.
You didn't like Vernon?
You didn't like Vernon. I don't even like his name.
Well, I know who I wanted that draft. I wanted Joey Bosa, but of course he wasn't available because the Chargers at the time took him. But that's who I wanted.
Well, and here's the thing: it's like if you pay attention, Jason Light always goes and gets his cornerbacks second round, third round, fourth round.
Well,
that's some of your best corners that ever played the game are always in the second and third rounds.
I mean, you get Carlton Davis, you get Jamel Dean, you get Mike Edwards in the later rounds. Jordan Whitehead didn't work out this year, but you get him in the later rounds.
Was a third round pick.
Who?
Rondé Barber was a third round pick.
Rondé Barber, I believe, was a fourth. Was he a third or fourth?
I thought he was a third. I don't know.
Okay, I thought he was
him and Brian Kelly. Brian Kelly went like
he was. I think you're right. I think he was a third round pick out of Virginia. Yeah. I mean,
it's just and nowadays because the scouting is so good nowadays, these guys are going to find guys in the littlest places, and these guys are great players. I mean, we can go back a couple of years ago when we drafted Ali Marpet. Ali Marpet, what was it? A D3 school he went to?
Yes.
It's a D3 school.
Yeah, there's a lot more strikeouts when you go to them D3s.
He was a third round,
you- and you're
66th
right-
overall. Yes, third round.
And you're
pick.
right.
Mhm.
And you're 100% right. But somebody went out there and they did the work.
Well, and that's what it's all about. And that's what these scouts are doing right now. And that's the reason why it's so important to get out to the Senior Bowl and the combines and watch tape. And you know that, again, this administration is going to do that, including with that coaching staff there, and try to fill those needs. And don't be surprised if they double dip and go with another edge rusher if there is one on the board. If not, hopefully Campbell's on the board, from Alabama, the linebacker. Curtis, anything else here on the evolution?
No, that's it, man. Listen, go Buccaneers, Harry. I'm definitely rooting for you.
Yes,
I'm glad that they're doing what they're supposed to do instead of being boneheads. And
Well, they did everything they're supposed to do now. Now there's no excuses. You got an offense like that with that stable of receivers, the running game, the tight ends, that defense, that team's got no excuses this year. Unless Tyreek Stevens wants to sit in the end zone and taunt the fans in Washington.
I can't get off of here without bashing Dallas. How's it going to feel for them to finish third or fourth in that division this year?
Well, you have the Giants. They're not going to be very good. I mean, it depends on what are they going to do at quarterback.
I'm going to tell you right now. I'm going to predict they don't take a quarterback in the draft in this first round.
Who will they go with?
They're going to take the best position player they can possibly get, possibly even a wide receiver. And let me even be real clear with you. I think they're going to go veteran for a quarterback because that roster's not that bad, Peter.
It's really not. And they got a pretty good defense over there.
Yes, they do.
They got a pretty good defense over there. Dude, listen, I'm going to tell you something. Dallas is a dumpster fire right now. They've invested all that money into CeeDee Lamb and Dak Prescott.
Right.
Who the hell else are you going to pay?
Well, and they can do restructures, but you're exactly right. When it comes,
I say call Jason Light. He'll give him a few tips.
Well, we won't give him any tips at all. Just let him be. Let him be the Cowboys. Yeah,
we got a tip for him.
Yeah.
Stay out of dark alleys at night.
Yeah, exactly. Do this. All right, Curtis. Appreciate the call, man. Use that second one if you want. All right.
Okay.
All right. Give out the number, Harry.
You got a question for the Greek and Pete? On the sports web, you can dial 727-255-0391. That's 727-255-0391.
Good stuff there, my friend. You learned from you're a true professional, scholar and a professional. All right, let's see here. So good comment there by KR. Good evening, Peter. What's up, Tim? How about them Bucs? All right, so we read that comment there. It was just $1 million off the Godwin deal, 3 years, $65 million. Great stuff there, Christopher.
Oh, yeah.
Jamie Lindsay, all these corners getting signed when that's the Bucs' weakest position on defense. And I disagree. I don't think it's the weakest position on defense. I think that's predicated on the pressure not being there consistently. I still think they may restructure Dean. Yes, go ahead.
It was a combination of a couple of things. The secondary was hurt, man. You can't say that's the reason, okay? You know what? No one's talking about the linebacking court. Sucked, okay?
Yes.
With the exception of Levante David. I mean, the man's just, when your best player is in his 30s, okay, and your linebacker court, you have a problem, okay?
Yeah.
But they addressed every one of their needs. They really have. Now they can just take the best defensive player that's in that draft.
They can, and free agency isn't over yet, guys. They can still restructure, so they may address this and go and get a corner at the end of the day. But yeah, Winfield Jr. Not playing up to snuff because he was hurt for the majority of the year.
I think he'll have a much better year this year.
Jordan Whitehead. Now you have Tyke Smith. They're going to move on from Jordan Whitehead. So you're gonna move some players around there, and hopefully that is a better second. And again, they may move on from Dean. I'm not sure if they do that because I think that defense was still pretty good, a lot different defense, if you will, when Dean was in there. Is he highly inconsistent as a player? Yes, he is. But if you get him at a lower salary where you restructure his deal, I could see Jason Light pulling something like that off. So. And again, Jamie, and You got to be patient here. I get it. It's the first day of free agency. It's a legal tampering period. The new league year doesn't start until Wednesday at 4:00. So we'll see what the Bucs can do. They still have plenty of time. People can be cut. People need to stop doubting Jason, the Bucs organization. Players want to be here because they know it's a destination now. Correct. Dave says Reddick is a good signing. He's going to go to work for a new contract. Exactly. Absolutely.
Oh, yeah.
Let's go out to Roger Shoe. Oompa right there.
Opa.
Well, I can't say it loud. You know, I'm just
no. Oompa. It's
Oompa.
Oompa Loompa. Oompa Loompa.
Opa. Okay. Opa.
Opa is a Greek saying, Pete.
Okay. All right.
And you're supposed to take these glass dishes, the plates, and throw them. And you say Opa, and you're supposed to break.
That's how I felt the last couple of days when I posted my Tesla on I Love St. Pete, which were on there. And everybody told me how much my car sucked, how they wished that I would get into a crash with the battery with me inside. It would blow up because of Elon Musk. Nothing political. They made it political. I was just posting about the business there that took care of me and let me go full screen to Tampa Tesla there on Florida Avenue. Thank you for doing the firmware update. Thank you for bringing back Sexy Red, as I call her there, my red Tesla 2018. Appreciate you, as always.
And for all the haters out there, I don't care if you hate Elon Musk. Keep doing it, brother.
Absolutely. There you go. There's a reason why he's rich and he's a billionaire at the end of the day. What's up, Harry?
What's up, Dave?
Dave Logan says, finally an edge rusher. We get a cornerback and we are ready. I mean, you look at the edge corner. You got the edge now. Do you go corner in free agency? Does somebody out there?
It depends, man. If something's that's going to be palatable, there's only so many dollars you're going to continue to sign. I think, listen, whatever they don't get in free agency, they're going to get in the draft. That's it.
Yeah, that's
speculate all you want.
Well, that's what we do here on the Sports Web, and you're able to do that. How do you think the Bucs did today? Open phone line 727-255-0391, 727-255-0391. We'll go around the NFL just a little bit here, talk about some other signings, and get your comments. As always, again, Facebook stars are open. If you like the content, friend me on Facebook at Peter H. Blake. And, of course, like and subscribe to the Sports Web. We're live on LinkedIn Live. I believe we're live on X, although it's not showing the viewers there, so I have no idea. And, of course, Instagram Live. All right, so Reddick was drafted by Arians, and Foote was his position coach, correct? Good job, GM. Mr. Williams says on Chris Godwin, let's go. Let's go out to Trevor here. Trevor, welcome to the Evolution. You're on with yours truly, along with Harry the Greek, with the Bucs and doing what they did today. Go to work. Your thoughts. Welcome to the Sports Web.
Well, first, let me say good evening, fellas.
Yes, good evening to you, man. I'm good. I wish I could
what's up?
Raise my voice a little bit louder because I feel like I have a sore throat and I don't, but I'm just trying to be cognizant, if you will.
You was raving in excitement once we got those signings done today, huh?
Well, I was definitely excited, and I did it from work. I actually got sent home at noon, and I was ready to run out the door and get here and announce all the signings. And they go, come on back here, because we don't want you to be comfortable. We want you to be uncomfortable. We want you to take some more calls. So it ended up working out. I still got a chance to do a live from there, but it's all good. We're here now, and we're talking Bucs football, so I'm good.
Yeah, I was very pleased with, Chris deciding to come back. I know he probably could have got more from, different teams. I know New England probably offered him more, but yeah, I was excited. I was a little nervous. I'm not going to lie. You know what I mean? Because he had the opportunity to go out there and make some extra money, but he decided to be a homer. I think we talked about last week, we was talking about his wife, hopefully Miss Godwin was able to persuade him to stay. And if she did, shout out to Miss Godwin. So,
well, yeah, shout out to Miss Godwin and shout out to all the wives out there of the football players. Happy wife, happy life, especially Miss Evans, who last year persuaded Mike Evans to stay here. It just takes that. And their relationship, Godwin and Evans, are very close. And, of course, Baker Mayfield, you have that continuity. I get it. You lose your offensive coordinator, but you have Grizzard, who is there on third down. So it's going to work out. And just imagine the expectations. The offense could get actually better. Once again, if you can stay healthy, McMillan emerging as a talent at wide receiver. You got a second year of Bucky. You got the offensive line intact. I mean, I get it. It's on paper. You got to play the games, but a lot of excitement. And I think Godwin wanted to be a part of that. And why not? Why do you want to? I get it. You're going to get paid money. You got to get all that cheese, get the bag. You're going to be number one wide receiver, but you're not going to win many games. Myles Garrett, he's got $40 million. He's got all that money. He ain't going to win many games with the Cleveland Browns. He's not going to a Super Bowl.
He was like, "Hey, if I'm gonna play for a sorry team, I might as well be paid, right?"
I guess. I mean, but I guess it depends on: do you want to win? Do you want to win championships? Do you still want to get paid well and win some championships and have that opportunity? Which Godwin's already won one. Do you want to have an opportunity to do that, or do you want to go to the New England Patriots with a second-year quarterback, trying to find once again that consistency, learning a new system, going to a new place? He's up there in age. His wife, they just had a kid. Do you want to uproot your family here from Tampa and go to freaking New England and the cold weather? You want to go up north, or you want to stay down here in Florida, in Tampa, Florida, where it's become a destination? Weather. That's what I'm saying, man. Even though it rained on a Monday, which, by the way, nearly put me to sleep. And thanks a lot, whoever the forecaster was that forecasted the rain to fall down at 8:25 in the morning while I'm taking Alexander out, which I didn't need another shower, but I got one anyway. Yeah, thanks a lot, Florida. Appreciate that. Thanks.
Yeah. And then shout out to Hassan Reddick for deciding to join forces with us. Key piece right there. Pass rush. I know things didn't work out with him with the Jets last year. They couldn't get.
That's pretty concerning.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, he got traded. You know what I mean? So
he refused to play. Let's get that straight. That's very scary.
He traded there too, though.
He was traded there, and the agreement on the trade was that, and this is what his camp has said, and this is the reason why he held out in the first place, is because he wanted a new contract, and the Jets didn't honor that new contract. And you look at the numbers around the league.
Pete, that happens with so many players, bro.
I get that, but
listen, Hassan Reddick is a really good player, but if you're going to be a cancer, and you don't want to play. Hey, listen, when your boss tells you to do something, like when you told you to go home at 12 o'clock, you were going home, right, Pete?
I was going home. I was trying to
Hold on, Pete.
Yeah.
When they told you had to come back, how do you think that would have went for you? If you would have said, "Nah, man, I think I'm just going to chill."
I probably would have been suspended. Yes.
There you go.
Yeah.
That's all I'm going to say. It may be
we went through this last year with Randy Gregory, so if it happens again, it's not like we're not used to it.
Right, exactly. I mean, high risk, low salary, or high reward, low risk. I think it's in again at the end of the day,
it's a 1 year deal, too.
Right?
So that tells me hey, we're not going to sit here and we're not going to commit to you long term because of your checkered past.
Right.
So it's like we're talented. We acknowledge the fact that you're a talented player. You can help us on the defensive side of the ball. However, because the way you handle business, we're not going to sit here and we're not going to invest years and of commitment towards you because of that. Now if you come to work, do your job and do it well, maybe we can revisit this a year from now.
Yeah.
But as of right now, you're a temp. You're not hired full time. You're a temp.
Well, he's a mercenary. He's been a mercenary throughout his career and have the opportunity to either earn a new contract with the Bucs or somebody else. But it's do or die for him. Honestly, he's 30 years old. You can maybe get another big contract if you're as productive as you've been throughout your career. Harry, I know you've got to get out of here, so let me get Harry out of here. Trevor, we'll finish up with this call, but go ahead and promote yourself here on The Evolution.
Nothing to promote. I'm Harry the Greek. We'll see you Monday and Wednesday nights live right here on the Sports Web. Peter, thank you so much for having me on. Great job, Tampa Bay. Great job with what the Bears have done today. I'll tell you what, it's really, really exciting. Take care and thank you.
All right, good stuff there, Harry the Greek. Appreciate the time as always. So we'll come back to the one shot here. Trevor, go ahead and finish up.
I just hope, now that we, obviously we wanted Godwin back, shout out to Jason Light for making that happen. Hassan Reddick, I'm optimistic. I think he needs us just like we need him. So I do think he's going to show up to work because like you just mentioned, if he doesn't hold up his end of the deal. He'll have that bad rep going with him.
Correct.
To wherever he tries to end up. And I know he wants his money. So if he wants his money, hey, brother, come to work.
That's it. Go to work.
And so hopefully, I think going into the draft, I do hope that we try to get another pass rusher, and then just hopefully we can shore up that defense. But I mean, free agency ain't over. Maybe we'll sign another piece here or there. You know what I mean?
That's it. And, again, in free agency is the biggest indicator when it comes down to what you're going to do in the draft. Whatever needs or whatever players you acquire, those are the less needs you have to go for in the drafts. Anything else, Trevor?
No, I'm gonna let all your other fans call in. Go Bucs.
Yeah, man, go Bucs. Absolutely, go Bucs.
Yeah. How about them Bucs, baby?
Use that second call, my friend. All right, appreciate you.
Yes, sir.
All right, we got some breaking news here. This is not Bucs related, but it is NFC South related here, and I just want you to look at this. Saints are re-signing Chase Young, 3 years, $51 million. 25-year-old Young was somewhat productive, I believe like 5.5 sacks for the Saints last year. So he is re-upping with the New Orleans Saints. Let's go out to this guy.
Damn it, Jim, what the hell is the matter with you?
Well, we had Jim here. Let's see if we can get him back. We got Jim Sutton calling from Ohio. And again, as always, the phone lines are open. So be patient with me as I'm trying to take as many calls tonight. Jim, welcome to the Evolution.
How you doing? I was trying to see what position does a Reddick play? Reddick?
Hassan Reddick is an edge rusher. 59 sacks for his career.
And he on a one-year contract. And we got Godwin back. I figured that they were gonna work something out.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I mean, you had the faith, right? I mean, what do you think about what the Bucs did in the first day of free agency?
That's good work. I'm glad I'm listening to you guys.
Because you haven't been able to keep track all day long, right?
Right. No, not all day.
I got you. All right, man. I got you. Well, you got
man. So yeah, I'm happy to hear that we're getting people together.
Well, you got back Levante David on Friday night, which is a good thing because he still thinks he has something left in the tank, which he would be correct. He's playing like a 25-year-old instead of a 35-year-old, and he believes that he can give another year to this Bucs defense. And I think there's a lot of Bucs fans are saying, because he could have easily retired or he could have gone somewhere else. And he decided once again to come back with Tampa Bay. And then what you did in the first 45 minutes, tremendous. You re-sign Godwin, you re-sign an offensive lineman who was very productive for this Bucs team, who you got off the scrap heap. He gets paid, he gets taken care of. So you keep the continuity with that offensive line. And you address probably the biggest need of this team, in my opinion, besides linebacker, maybe corner. I still think corner, you're going to go with Dean, or you're going to make a decision here in the next couple of days, whether you restructure, you bring him back, or go out and get somebody else. But you get Hassan Reddick on a 1-year deal. That's pretty good stuff there. Jim, hold on a second. Let me put you on hold. Caller, we're going to come out to you in a moment. I'm going to go finish up with Jim, and then so hold the line, all right?
Okay.
All right, stand by. All right, so we got Jim on the line here. Jim, go ahead and finish up.
Yeah, I was just checking in to see. So he is edge rusher. Usually play the same position like
edge rusher, outside linebacker. Yeah, that's how they're going to use him. Outside linebacker, edge rusher. They're going to use him all over the place. It's going to be very fun to watch him in this defense and what Todd Bowles is able to do with him. And again, I'm excited about him, because I get it. He did hold out for the Jets, but if a team guarantees you, and this is from their camp, so take it for what it's worth, but the reason why he held out in the first place is because he wasn't compensated. He wanted to be compensated. He was told that he was going to get a contract extension and didn't get that contract extension, and that's why he held out. But you look at his whole career consistently, 2 years removed from 11 sacks with the Eagles, 3 years removed from 16 sacks with the Eagles, 4 years removed with the Panthers for 11 sacks. 5 years removed for the Cardinals with 12.5 sacks. Besides that, 17, 2.5, 18, 4, 19, 1, and 1 last year. Overall, though, 59 sacks. You got to like the move, especially at the price point. And we just talked about Chase Young. 3 years, $51 million. 25 years old. I get it. He's younger than Reddick. But what edge rushers are going for right now with Khalil Mack, with Joey Bosa is most likely going to get with Myles Garrett, it is a slam dunk by Jason Light and crew there with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, in my opinion. What else, Jim? All right, I think he's gone. So he's speechless there. Let's go out to the phone lines here. Welcome to the evolution of Sports Talk Television. What's your name? Where are you calling from? Okay. All right. So I guess we'll hang up with him. There we go. Welcome to the Sports Web. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
I'm David. I'm from Clearwater.
What's going on, David?
So I don't know. Like I'm not very happy with the first day.
Why? Why aren't you happy with the first day? What would you like to see the Bucs do?
Yeah. So first of all, I really hate the Hassan Reddick signing.
Okay. Why do you hate that?
Because a number of things. So first of all, he's 30 years old.
Okay.
He's coming from a really down year.
Okay.
He barely played.
Okay.
Didn't produce much.
Okay.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know. I just think that Jason Light, when it comes to free agency, he should take advantage of players that are younger and could sign into longer term deals so that we could develop them a little bit more, use them for a couple of years, 3 years, and still have draft capital after they leave the Bucs, right?
Well, you're still going to have draft capital with Reddick. That's only a 1-year deal.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. So who's going to pay, give like a valuable draft pick for a 31-year-old player who played 1 year for the Bucs, and the Bucs don't want to come back?
Well, then
nobody's going to give.
Then you may lose him. You lose him for a 1 year, but if he's productive for you and he gets you, if he's that guy that gets you over the top where you're able to beat Washington in the first round because you have that consistent pass rush, was it worth the signing?
Yeah, so that's what I think. So for example, in this particular year, I think that the free agency when it comes to edge rusher was really, really deep. There was just so many good options.
Okay. So
one of the options you just mentioned right now, which was Chase Young. For example, can you imagine if you had Chase Young on a $17 million a year contract for 4 years?
Well, let's look at the numbers. Let's compare the numbers here with Chase Young and see how many he has compared to Hassan Reddick. Let's look at the numbers here. The stats show for Chase Young, and let's go out to the number. 5.5 sacks last year. Okay. For his
tons of pressures.
Okay.
Tons of pressures.
Okay, but we had some tons of pressures with Yaya Diaby, but you didn't have the sacks. What you're looking for is sack. You're looking for sack numbers when it comes down to it. For his career, for Chase Young's career, he has 22 sacks, and you're paying him $17 million. You got a guy who had 59 sacks through his career, and you got him at a rate for $14 million, and only $12 million are guaranteed, my friend. So I get you the youth thing, and then on top of it, you forget about Chris Braswell, who you drafted in the second round. A lot of people go, well, he didn't do much in his first year. Well, neither did Nolan Smith, the edge rusher for the Philadelphia Eagles. What did he do in the second year? Didn't he have like double-digit sacks? I mean, that's what Jason Light is looking at. And then furthermore, you can go into the draft and double dip and get an edge rusher with either 19 or go into the second round and get somebody. So not all is lost. I understand where you're coming from. Maybe you don't re-sign him. What happens if he has double-digit sacks and he gets you over that point, and maybe he does get you a Super Bowl championship? You re-sign him. Why not? He's only 30 years old, 31 years old. That's not old by any means.
But that's the issue that I see. So I see that, like, in the best case scenario, let's say that he balls out, he has an amazing year and all that stuff. We're gonna be in a situation in 1 year in which we will be discussing how big of a contract we would give it to a 31-year-old edge rusher.
Or you look at it this way. Hold on. Or you look at it this way. Maybe you have Yaya Diaby develop into that elite pass rusher like you think he's going to. You still have him under contract. And maybe you have Chris Braswell that develops into an edge rusher, and you can move on from a Reddick. It's a good problem to have. I get where you're coming from, but it's not like the cupboard is bare here for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. They know what they're doing when it comes to, developing players. And I get it. Jason Light necessarily hasn't been the best when it comes to drafting edge rushers. You're still going to add to that room. You still have some growth process with Yaya Diaby. You have to win those one-on-ones, and you still have a growth process there that can happen with progression for Braswell this year. It may happen for him. So let's just see how this works out. And I understand the point that he is a little bit up there. He's only 30 years old, okay? So he may still have something left in the tank. And on top of it, I think he's going to be extra motivated here, David, because he's going to want to earn that second big-time contract for him.
I hope so. Okay. I just for me, I just think if the idea was to bring someone, right, for a 1-year contract, what I would rather do is to pay a lot less for someone like DeMarcus Lawrence and also get Jeremy Sherwood as a middle linebacker, or Levi Onwuzurike to be an extra D tackle.
Okay.
And it would cost the same amount of money that it cost to sign Hassan Reddick. So that's my point.
Okay.
That's why I don't.
Fair enough. Fair enough. What would you like to see them do, David? It's an articulate point. It's a good point. We'll see how it works out. And you can call me and say, you know what, Pete, you were completely wrong. And I'll say, you know what, David from Clearwater, you were absolutely correct here, because I never say I'm right about everything. But I will tell you, you watch this show enough times, pretty accurate, my friend. Not to just pat myself on the back here. What did you think of Chris Godwin re-signing, and of course Levante David? Yeah, talk about that a little bit.
Absolutely loved it. I think it was key. I think it was also very smart that they signed him into a 3-year deal, because in this way, let's say that Evans decides to retire after 2 seasons, we're still going to have a solid number 1 wide receiver for the future.
Correct.
So that was perfect. Levante David, absolutely perfect, because we need to rebuild our middle linebacker room. And I think that no matter what happens, if we further develop Servassier Dennis, or if we also get another, free agent, I think it's very important to have Levante David, because he's the guy who leads. He's going to make other people lead by example. He leads by example, and he will make people accountable. And this is exactly what we need. So I'm very, very happy with that move as well. I think it was a very solid move to bring him, and not very expensive too, right? Because I believe it was like $9.5 million or 10 million. So I think it was a solid contract. So I like that too.
Yeah, $9 million guaranteed, worth up to $10 million, of course, with incentives, and you still get a guy that, even though he's 35 years old, is still playing at a 25-year-old linebacking level where he's able to go side from side. I get it. The coverage issues there, not the best, and that's where the Bucs will address it. That's where you're going to look at Servassier Dennis. That's where you're going to add a linebacker in free agency, because again, free agency legal tampering started today, but it didn't officially start. There may still be some cuts here. There may still be some restructures by this Bucs organization where they address these needs. You're definitely going to have to address the linebacking situation, because you're not bringing back any of the depth pieces. JJ Russell is not going to be he's not going to be brought back. You're going to have KJ Britt. He's a free agent. He was highly disappointing. So you're going to have to address that situation. It's either going to be in free agency, it's going to be in the draft, or it's going to be both. But you're exactly right. Having David, invaluable experience there, with the experience level, with the leadership qualities. Maybe he's not necessarily the greatest vocal leader when it comes down to it, but the guy leads by example. He's been one of the most consistent players, not only defensively, but in this Bucs organization in the last 10 years.
Yeah, no, I agree. And you know what? I'm really hoping, I would love for them to sign Sherwood in free agency. Because here's the thing. I see a lot of mock drafts, and they're putting Jihad Campbell as our first round draft. And even though I think he will be an amazing player, I don't doubt that, I just don't think drafting a middle linebacker on first round is the best positional value. I really think that our biggest thing for the first round should be drafting another edge, because we need good edge rushers for the future. So I would love to see them signing someone like Sherwood.
Okay. All right, my friend. We'll see what happens here. We still got a couple days. We'll be live on Wednesday night at 8:00. You're more than welcome to call in. You can call in again. Use that second call if you want to. All right.
Okay, all right. Thank you, and go Bucs.
All right, man. Yeah, go Bucs. Yeah.
Let's go!
That's the way you end
How about
the
them
call.
Bucs, baby?
That's the way you end it. You end it like that. Good stuff. Open phone line 727-255-0391 at 727-255-0391. As I'm keeping my voice to a level at this point, I am not sick by any means. In fact, somebody was trying to call in before. So let's see if we can get them on the line here. And then we're also expecting Leo Haggerty of Amped Up Sports, former Coach Scout and now media member of Night Sports Productions. And again, Amped Up Sports to call in or, video in here to give us his thoughts. What's going on? You're on the Sports Web. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
What's going on, Peter? This is Josue calling to you from next to Raymond James Stadium, actually.
There you go. Right down the street from me. I see you, Josue. What did you think about what the Bucs did today in free agency?
Well, I haven't been keeping up with that, honestly.
Well, okay. They re-signed. I'll give you the update here. I'll give you the update. They re-signed Chris Godwin. 3 years, $66 million. The offensive lineman, Ben Bredeson, they re-signed him. And then they also picked up Hassan Reddick, 1 year, $14 million with $12 million guaranteed. Reddick, 59 sacks, only 1 sack last year for the Jets after he held out. So there you go. There's your update.
All right, thank you for that.
Yeah, man.
So what's the deal with the Rays ownership? MLB wants them to sell? Is that what I'm hearing?
Well, I'm not surprised by this. And of course, our good friend JP Peterson of the JP Peterson Show had one of the ownership groups on today. So you have to catch that episode. But what I will say is I'm not surprised by this report because I've heard the last couple of years, Major League Baseball, especially Rob Manfred, has grown tired of what Stu has been trying to do, which is, hold the Bay Area captive with all the nonsensical negotiating, dragging of your feet here, trying to get a new stadium deal done, not able to get it done, not able to. And how long have we seen this? And then on top of it, you have the revenue sharing from other teams, sharing the money and the money not being invested in the team. How many years has this Rays team with Sternberg and his ownership been at the bottom of Major League Baseball? So I think Manfred and the rest of the owners are tired of it. Sternberg treats this team as if they're a poverty franchise when we know that he's got all kinds of money. He's just putting it in his pocket at the end of the day. And they're tired. They want an ownership here that is going to embrace the Tampa Bay sports fan. You have the 11th largest media market where they deserve an ownership, much like what the Tampa Bay Lightning have and much like what the Tampa Bay Buccaneers have. And this is what has always made me so angry about this ownership in the Tampa Bay Rays. You're asking, St. Pete, you're asking Pinellas County to put their hard-earned money into a new stadium, yet you will not invest in fan favorites. You will not invest in making the team better. And they've done this consistently over and over again. When the Rays are doing well, they browbeat the fan base because there's no attendance. Everybody knows. And by the way, I got oceanfront property on Arizona. If you believe that that's all based on attendance, it's not. These owners in Major League Baseball are getting all this TV money, and Sternberg is taking that money and putting it in his pocket instead of investing in the team, and has nothing to do with attendance. And I'm so sick and tired of this narrative being thrown out there where the Tampa Bay area and their fans don't care about the Rays. I wouldn't care about the Rays because you don't know who's coming and going 2-3 years from now. Your fan favorites are being traded for prospects. And on top of it, your owner continues to run his fat trap every chance he gets to down the fan base because they're not showing up and investing in his product when he refuses to invest in his own product. It's like a toxic relationship. It's one-sided, and the Rays and this ownership, especially this ownership, needs to go bye-bye. And thank God, if Rob Manfred is able to put a stop to this ownership, I'm telling you right now, I'm going to party like it's 1999. Does that answer your question?
Oh, yeah, you and me both. I mean, we've seen it time and again that, and it's funny that you say that, we can't keep the star players around. We trade for the prospects. And then the irony of it is that, we keep winning in spite of it.
Yeah.
So it's like, are we helping or hurting the situation? But yeah, I definitely agree, Peter.
All right, Joe Sway. Anything else here on the evolution?
Garrett Cole, I heard he's getting Tommy John. That's a big blow. What did he hurt it during the game, or what happened with that?
Yeah, hurt it during the game, and that happens, and that's that's a shame for him. But that's the risk of paying big time money to a free agent, and that's a big time risk of paying the money to a guy that has all those innings, and that's why I think the Rays do it right. Although they're not able to escape the injury situation when it comes to Tommy John and pitching injuries, because right now it's just happening in Major League Baseball. You're stronger, faster doesn't necessarily mean you're better. It also means you could be prone to injuries, if that makes sense. So definitely.
Well, speaking of, how's Shane McClanahan doing this spring? I haven't been able to keep up with the Rays spring training much because I've been so busy with my own season. But how's Shane coming back from his own Tommy John?
So far, so good, man. Yeah, I haven't heard anything bad at this point. What you want to do is make sure that you're careful with the innings that he's going to pitch. And I see Leo in the back there. We'll get out to him in a moment. I've got a phone call, so call back if you want to. Whoever that is will take your phone call, but I don't know who that is, but call back if you want. But everything right now seems like it's working. And this is the key to this Rays team, where I think they can win over 90 games, because 1 through 5, it's, that's a tough pitching staff. Bradley, Pepio, McClanahan, Rasmussen. I think, the sky's the limit. Baz, but they've got to stay healthy, and I definitely think they're going to be careful with McClanahan. Joe Sway, appreciate the call. Anything else? Use that second one if you want to. Anything else here?
No, I was just going to piggyback. Yeah, the staff has to stay healthy, because now with Cole being out, that pretty much opens the door now for the Rays. They could possibly sneak up and get this division. I know Baltimore is still very, very good. I know Boston is they're going to always be tough. They're a tough competition. And Toronto, I don't know, they have much of up there, but with Cole being out, this opens the door for the Rays to sneak in and try to sneak that division away from the Yankees.
I agree with you. I agree with you, Joe. I agree with you, Joe Sway. Appreciate the call, man. We're going to run. Use that second call if you like to, okay?
All right. Thank you, Peter.
Yep. Let's go out to the phone lines here. And first, we'll get out to Leo Haggerty. Stand by, caller. Let's get his intro on.
Book him, Dano.
Leo Haggerty, welcome to the Evolution. We're going to go out to the phone lines. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hey, Peter. It's Sarah again.
What's going on, Sarah? You're on with Leo Haggerty.
Hey, how are you, Leo?
I'm fine, Sarah. How are you?
We're doing good. We're doing good. So my son actually just got home, and we were talking about the Hassan sign, and he just mentioned maybe we're trying to get your thoughts in. What he recommended is bringing in maybe, drafting Landon Jackson from Arkansas to maybe be underneath Hassan. And the possibilities there. What do you guys feel about that?
Sarah, let me go ahead. You know what my thoughts are. I like the signing, 59 sacks. He's a proven pass rusher, but he did have a problem with the Jets last year in holding out Leo Haggerty. He's been highly productive with the Philadelphia Eagles, 2 double-digit sack seasons. What did you think of the Reddick signing today by Jason Light and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers? Welcome to the Evolution.
Thank you, Peter. The only thing that concerns me is he's not a 3-4 guy, and that's because he hasn't played in a 3-4. So we'll see what happens. He's going to have to be that hand in the dirt guy. He's not a coverage. He's definitely an edge rusher. And again, that's going to be huge. I like the Godwin signing. We knew Peter was going to cost him more money after they franchised T. Higgins, and it did. But the Bucs weren't going to let him get away. It was important that Godwin got in. And it was important they found an edge rusher, because now they're going into the draft and they can pretty much look at best player available. Whereas not, they're going to have to stretch down and look for that edge rusher or look for the another wide receiver. So, they're in pretty good shape there.
They're in great shape there. And Sarah, it's a great idea by your son. He's a smart man, first, because he watches the sports web with you. And second, you absolutely could double dip with a younger player, especially with Reddick under a 1-year contract. If he doesn't prove himself, then you can move on. You can go with a young guy like a Braswell, like a Yaya Diaby. If you decide to double dip with number 19 there or another young player, you can do that. Or you can go with Reddick. It's a good problem to have. I would not be surprised if the Bucs do that. Let me go out to you, Leo. In your opinion, is that still the biggest need, even with Reddick being signed and having Yaya and Braswell, which you're not sure what he's going to do in this second year? Although I will say Nolan Smith kind of turned out pretty well for the Philadelphia Eagles with his double-digit sack season, as Jason Light mentioned at the Combine. In your opinion, is edge still the biggest need for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers?
Not the biggest need now, Peter, but it's still high on the list. And again, when they get to pick, they're going to look at what the best player available is on their board.
Yeah.
And again, if they got a guy who's like 7 or 8, and then the next guy up that's still on the draft board is like 15 or 16, you're going to want to take that guy at 7 or 8 because you got to trust your draft board. That's the key. It's up there for a reason.
Yeah.
And, don't try to – and again, that was the biggest fear I think that Jason Light and the Buccaneers had, is that they were going to stretch out and try to look for an edge rusher. So why not go back with a guy who, when he wants to play, and pretty much he wants to play all the time, he's going to have sacks. He's going to get there. And, it almost looks like, what they did earlier when, Barrett came in and everybody said, well, he was out there and he was with, another guy and this
On
guy.
Miller.
All of a sudden, he
Miller.
dropped double digits on him. And that's what you need.
Yeah. He was under Von Miller. He didn't get the opportunity, and now he got the opportunity. Hope that answers your question, Sarah. Anything else here on the evolution?
No, it's just, like my son, he, like you said, he watches it. He follows college really, really strongly. And he was saying, and I agree with him. I said the same thing, when we do 1-year contracts, like it's a big deal. Like we're bringing that person on for a run for sure. We've shown it before in the past. And so it just makes more sense to bring someone in because that's, that position is like a couple years to get it advanced, to get it to be experienced, and to bring in. And he really likes this guy. What's his name again? Landon Jackson.
Landon Jackson. All right. I will definitely take a.
Can I jump in there real quick because she's onto something there. The problem with edge rushers in college is they may be a one-trick pony. Because if they're faster than the tackles they're playing against, all you're going to see is a speed rush. Well, guess what? When you get to the NFL, and Braswell found this out, you ain't going to be able to run by all these guys. You're going to have some, some moves. You're going to be able to have a spin move. You're going to have a swim move. You're going to have a rip. And all of a sudden, that speed rush isn't the only thing you got. And that's the scary thing. And that's what when I look at these guys at Michigan, and I look at them and I see the same move over and over and over again. And you know what? If I was them, I'd use the same thing until somebody stopped it. But the problem is when you get to the NFL, you got to diversify. You got to have plan B and plan C if you're an edge rusher or if you're a defensive tackle.
Right. Sarah, thanks a lot for the call. Appreciate you as always using those 2 calls. Tell your son to call the show sometime, all right?
He's right here with me, so he was a little nervous. So he's listening in right now. But
don't be nervous.
And we'll see you in the future. And listen, go Bucs, man! It's gonna be awesome. It's gonna be a great season.
Love it. Good stuff there. Open phone line 727-255-0391. It's 727-255-0391. Let's get back to Chris Godwin. Reports would suggest there's many out there that he turned down $20 million. Can you believe that? And how unbelievable is this to have 2 wide receivers that are so unselfish, that are great not only on the field, but off the field and consistently productive? I get it. Godwin had the injury. He's had the injury the last couple years here, but he was ready to be one of the top wide receivers. How surprised were you that he didn't run and get the money there, go for the money with the Patriots, $20 million? And how... how should Bucs fans look at this situation with Godwin and Evans, especially Godwin coming back into the fold to this Buccaneer offense that could be even better this year with the emergence of Jalen McMillan?
You know what, Peter? Leaving $20 million on the table, I just want to know what they mean by that. Now, if it was he didn't take the fourth year, then I understand. Godwin, hey, 3 years, $66 million, or 4 years, $80 million. He's sitting better with a 3-year contract because he's got 44 guaranteed.
Right.
The fact that you got $20 million on the table, is it guaranteed money, and is it an extra year? Because really, he's playing for the same amount of money, and he probably played for more money in Tampa because there's no state income tax.
Correct.
So,
Absolutely.
yeah, I think if I was Chris Godwin, I'd want that 3-year contract because if I'm still playing at the high level I think I'll be able to play at, then I got another contract I'm looking at. If I'm going 4 years, that may be my last contract because that's going to put him up. Anytime you got a 3 in front of your age, teams are going to worry about that.
Yep. All right. Let's go out to the comments here because I don't want to neglect these guys. As always, Webheads, appreciate you. Facebook stars are open. YouTube super chats. It's the Sports Web here on a legal tampering Monday with lots of moves around the National Football League. We'll get back to that in a moment. So let's go out. Our secondary hasn't been that great since the first Super Bowl, going back to, I think he's talking about Super Bowl 55. In your opinion, do you restructure Jamel Dean or do you go out there and test the waters in free agency, or do you address this in the draft? Because I still think you could address this in the draft. And our friends Joe Bucs fan mentioned, Tony Dungy always felt like you draft a corner. And with the injury problems that the Bucs had last year with losing Dean, losing McCollum, but mostly losing Dean, you had to play players like Josh Hayes, Funderburk. They came in, they weren't very good. So in your opinion, do you restructure the contract with Dean and bring him back at a lower salary because this defense was different with him gone? Do you move on from him and address free agency? And do you go in the draft, in your opinion, and also address that position? Lots of questions there, Theo.
Well, you know what, Peter? Let me work backwards on that because I was hoping to ask Daniel Jeremiah this because I think I know the answer. Is there a position that you need to draft every year no matter what? And I think it's defensive back because you can never have enough corners. Tony Dungy hit the nail on the head.
Yeah.
It's just that there's so much involved in the run game now. They're coming up. They're either the force guy. They're the fill guy. They're involved in corner cats where they're blitzing. Especially if you got a guy who's playing that slot corner in the nickel. You don't tell him where he's going. He's either playing zone, playing man, or coming. So, yeah, I think you need to do that. And, Peter, we have to make sure that we differentiate, Leo word,
very nice,
between restructuring and signing at a lower amount. What you do when you restructure is the player's still getting the same amount of money. It's just restructured over a different time frame. When you ask them to sign at a lower rate, now you've cut him. And now you're coming in and you're re-signing him. So there is a difference. And I think Dean would be up to restructuring because he's not losing any money. It's just a matter of when it's coming in. But when you restructure, you got to see with that restructure how much is guaranteed money. Forget about numbers. Like Chris Godwin, he signed for 66. No, he signed for 44. That's the guaranteed money.
Right.
And that's what you want because he's going to get 44 in the first 2 years. And then after that, it's not guaranteed.
Would you move on from Dean, in your opinion, from what you saw in film last year?
I don't want to ever move on from a veteran defensive back simply because I don't know what I got in the closet. The Eagles moved from, excuse me, Peter, Darius Slay because they saw the handwriting on the wall. Our secondary is getting old. Gardner Johnson, Slay. So what do? We draft Mitchell and DeJean. And they come out, and I got Blankenship still back there at safety.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm trying to replace these guys. Unless I get somebody really high in the draft that happens, I try to restructure Dean to make sure that I got salary cap space to sign these guys.
I love it. I love the move here. Let's go out to this guy. Best of the Bay, Ray Kennedy. Welcome to the Evolution. Hold on a sec here. Hold on. Ralph Williams, we're going to come out to you in a moment. We're going to finish up with Ray, all right? Stand by. All right, so let's go out to Ray Kennedy, Best of the Bay. What's on your mind tonight, my friend?
The slow days of the sports news cycle in Tampa Bay, huh, fellas?
Right, I'm telling you. The moves just came today. And honestly, as crazy as it sounded, I wanted to get sent home at noon so I could run home and report all this news. And of course, it doesn't work out for me, but I still got a chance to go live at lunch.
Well, that's just it, brother. That was beautiful because that's everything. It's everything you're doing and going like that with the passion. That's exactly and the authority talking about everything. And I know it was killing you. I know you'd be like wanting to do a live show. Speaking of live shows, I was thinking would have been nice maybe to do a show this week with Selection Sunday down at Berg. But maybe I'll talk to Coach or I don't know what your Sunday looks like, but no, just again, the NFL, NHL, and of course the big news with the Rays guys. I mean, we've talked about this last time at the Tyson Jake Paul fight over there at the place not to be named because it wasn't licensed to watch the fight with TJ Reeves' watch party. I'm throwing him way under the bus, but I mean, what do you guys think? I mean, what's all this news today about the Rays?
Well, I just talked about it. I think, again, Major League Baseball is hip to the game. They are sick and tired of Stu Sternberg. They're sick of, all this this show that he's trying to put on to try to get as much money. They are sick of the tone deafness by this ownership when they go, well, Pinellas County missed this date, so it cost us $150 million. Oh, yeah, by the way, there was 2 catastrophic hurricanes. They just don't care. Major League Baseball has caught up to Stu Sternberg. They're ready for him to move on, sell the team, go own the Mets, go be a Mets fan, go hang out in New York, stay there for as long as you can, get the hell out of Tampa, stop being the owner because you want the people in Tampa Bay to invest in a new stadium, but you're not willing to invest in your own product. That has been my biggest problem. And then on top of it, the revenue sharing for the big market teams, he's putting that money in his pocket. Leo, what did you think of the report from JP Peterson, which I don't know where you're at there, Ray, but I got to hopefully keep that down just a little bit there. But Leo.
Well, I just asked Leo a word and I'll get off. I'll get off. I know you just asked Leo a question. I want to ask Leo.
Yeah.
Leo, if Rob Manfred really has Stu Sternberg so scared that he's ready to sell this team almost desperately to like the first bidder or the first group that can get together, would that be the strongest move by a baseball commissioner that you've seen in your lifetime, going back to Peter Uberoff and Bart Giamatti and all the way up through those guys? And guys, thanks for taking my call. It's really windy, so I'll let you go. Great show tonight, Peter. Love you.
Appreciate you, Ray. Yes.
You know what, guys? I don't think Rob Manfred can do it. You can't force an owner unless it's Marge Schott, who's got a Nazi flag up in the background or whatever. You can't force Stu Sternberg to sell this team. There's no way. He hasn't done anything that's detrimental to baseball. Now, he's done a lot of things that we think are detrimental to Tampa Bay, but the bottom line is the franchise is thriving. He's still the owner, whether we like it or not, and fans are showing up. When you stop showing up, that's when you try to tell the owner, hey, look, you need to sell because people just don't want to show up.
Well,
and the problem is, Peter, when they've got a 12,000-seat stadium, it's going to be packed every night.
Right.
So that's going to give this optic that everybody's happy. And, that's never good.
Well, I think he's always tried to give the optic that baseball can't work in St. Pete or in the Tampa Bay area. But I don't care if you put this baseball team in Tampa, St. Pete, or Timbuktu. If you have an owner every year that constantly tells you it's not good enough, that you're not investing enough in my team, and they refuse to do the same, to have the same energy with signing their own fan favorites, signing their own players like, I don't know, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers or the Tampa Bay Lightning, or make trades at the deadline, or go for a championship, or at least try to put in the effort, that's the reason why you're not getting fans in the first place. Oh, by the way, the radio ratings and the TV ratings are some of the highest in Major League Baseball. And if this was all based off of attendance, many teams in Major League Baseball would be suffering right now. Spare me that nonsense, because we all know it's all about national TV money. Let's go out to the phone lines here. Ralph Williams, welcome to the Evolution. You're on with yours truly, along with the legend himself, Leo Haggerty.
Hey, guys, what's happening here? Well, I tell you what, today was a busy day for free agency. We lost Justin Fields. We lost James Daniels. We lost Dante Jackson.
Correct.
But we gained, a few good players. DK Metcalf, Slay. So, I mean, I can't complain. And Kenny Pickett now is going to be in the AFC North. How wonderful that is.
Well, how wonderful that is. He got traded to the Cleveland Browns, which, again, that's where quarterbacks go to die. That is a quarterback graveyard. Deshaun Watson and Baker Mayfield. Baker Mayfield is just so happy in Tampa. It's just amazing what happens when you leave Cleveland, because, again, it is a quarterback graveyard. It is a mismanaged franchise. And by the way, Myles Garrett, enjoy the $40 million and being one of the highest paid players in the National Football League, because, my friend, you're not going anywhere. It's just the doldrums with the Cleveland Browns. What else, Ralph?
Nothing much. I hear you guys about the Tampa Bay Rays, and I've said it many times. Our owner's just as bad as yours, if not worse. So I mean, for the Pirates here, but we sell out games, fireworks, bobbleheads. They got the Paul Skeens bobblehead this year.
You at least try.
So we'll sell some games.
Your ownership at least tries, and I get it. You have a new stadium.
Yeah.
You never won a World Series. That's my thing. That's the disappointing thing, because we can talk about the Rays and some of the things they do, especially ownership, but the talent on the field, they're fifth in wins over the last 10 years. It's been amazing. Can you imagine that they added to that salary cap? Can you imagine that they kept some of that talent in-house? You may have a couple World Series championships, and you may not be talking about this stadium situation, which we have been talking about ad nauseum the last 10 to 15 years. I just get it done, and it's on Stu to not get it done. Stu doesn't want to get it done. He's trying to back out of this St. Pete deal. We'll see if this new ownership group wants to be in St. Pete, or we'll see if they want to be in Tampa. Again, I don't care where you put it. You can put it in El Segundo, but if you have terrible ownership that is not willing to at least try, like you talked about with your Pittsburgh Pirates, at least they try. At least they try to cater to the fans. The Rays ownership does none of those things when it comes down to it. Ralph, what else?
Oh, yeah. Also, I wanted to say I have a prediction here.
Give me it.
Draft trade, George Pickens for we'll get back our second round pick and a third round pick.
I don't know why you're trading. I don't know why you're trading George Pickens. You've got a dynamic duo, if you will, Batman and Robin, George Pickens and DK Metcalf. Big time salary there. You finally got an offense. You got to figure out who your quarterback is. Is it going to be Aaron Rodgers? Is it going to be Russell Wilson? The talk is Aaron Rodgers. Leo, what did you think of that report? Aaron Rodgers talking to the Pittsburgh Steelers.
I don't think so.
Rodgers with Tomlin, is that a fit in your opinion, Leo?
Absolutely a fit. That's the problem, is that if Aaron Rodgers goes to Pittsburgh, now he's got weapons. And the Steelers have always been defensive oriented. Now they're starting to lean toward offense a little bit. And again, Metcalf, he wants the football. That's the big thing. So, yeah, let's see what happens here. You always want a guy to come into the huddle and say, hey, I'm open. Throw me the rock.
Right.
And that's the key. You want guys. And believe me, wide receivers, they're a different breed. They have a different mentality.
They are. Different mentality.
Get it near me, and I'll catch it.
That's it. And I don't think you trade George Pickens. I think he's one of the young top wide receivers in the league there, Ralph.
Yeah, well, Peter and Leo, every draft we have over 50 top 50 wide receivers. There's always a bunch of them. So I think we could find a couple talented people, and there might be another free agent out there we can ditch Pickens and his attitude and get him out of here and get somebody to line up with DK Metcalf. I wouldn't even be against him re-signing Mike Williams and getting him a little more involved. I wouldn't even be against that at all.
No,
I just want him out of here.
I think I know you want him out of there with the attitude, and that's the usual occurrence when it comes to wide receivers having that diva mentality. That's why I always say, with the Bucs receivers, Bucs fans should be excited about having Godwin and Evans because they go about it as professionals. They're not divas. But you're willing to put up with his attitude because he's highly productive. So I doubt that they will move on from Pickens. I'm sorry to burst your bubble. What else, Ralph?
That's it. I don't think Aaron Rodgers is coming here at all. If he does and fails, Mike Tomlin could be up. His job could really be on the line this
You're
time.
still trying to fire Mike Tomlin, man. You're still trying. All right.
I am.
All right,
absolutely.
Man. All right. Appreciate you. Again, I don't understand it. Some Pittsburgh Steelers fans, especially him, always trying to fire Mike Tomlin. He's one of the most consistent coaches in the league. I get it. He hasn't won all these Super Bowls, but every year he gets the most out of his players. Why does Mike Tomlin get that rap?
Because he hasn't won a Super Bowl in years. That's the problem. Again, if you get home playoff games for the owner, he's a happy camper because now he's getting windfall profit. So if you're not in the playoffs, your job is in jeopardy. If you're in the playoffs, but you're a 6 seed or a 5 seed, your job's in jeopardy because you're not bringing in any money to the owners. Again, Washington, great season. How much money did the owners make in the playoffs? Zip, nada, niet, because they had to play 2 road games. The Eagles, with home games, probably somewhere in $150 to $200 million windfall for Jeffrey Lurie. Yeah. Hello. That's big.
That is big. Are you surprised with Levante David and his return? And what do you see with him, with your scout's eye there? Does he still have something left in the tank from what I saw from the press box, sideline to sideline, still, playing at a high level here, even though he's 35 years old? Of course, Father Time is undefeated. Are you surprised by David's return?
No. Not at all. That's a clubhouse guy. That's a guy who, when people come in, that's the first guy, if you're a defensive player, you're going to look to find. Levante David. The guy is consistent. He shows up. He's a tackling machine. Has he slowed down? Yeah, but most people do. But that's what a veteran does. He learns how to make up for that loss of speed and athleticism by being smart.
All right. Good stuff there, Leo. You are the smart one talking about the linebacking position. Looks like Savasi Dennis is definitely going to factor in the equation. The Bucs moving on from their depth pieces there with not tendering J.J. Russell, not bringing back K.J. Britt. So in your opinion, if you don't go edge rusher at 19, could once again Campbell be on the board? And is that too high to draft a highly talented linebacker from the Alabama Crimson Tide?
It's never too high to draft a guy who you think's going to. If the guy comes in, and again, Carmen Perone taught me this when I first started in scouting back in the 1990s. Said your first pick has to play.
Right.
Doesn't matter whether you're 1 or 32. Who cares? And if somebody said, well, he was a second rounder. Well, guess what? He's not a second rounder. He's a first rounder because he's playing for me. But he's got to play. He's got to get on the field. Yeah. The second round got to get on the field. They got to be that edge rusher on third down. They got to be that guy that's the nickel corner. They got to be that posse wide receiver. They got to get on the field. And again, everybody talks about these draft picks past number 1 and 2. They're just for depth, guys. No one thinks that they're going to get 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th round talent and start. Because guess what? If they are, you're either pretty bad or you're a pretty bad judge of talent that you should have taken this guy earlier. So, yeah, that's the whole thing with the draft is you look at your team. What holes do you need to fill? And if you're picking in the top 5, there's a lot of holes you're filling because that's why you're picking in the top 5. People are talking about Tennessee, taking Cam Ward. I get it, but what are you doing with Levens? Now, you got a logjam up there. So Tennessee, if I'm Tennessee, I'm listening to people's offers for Cam Ward because I need more than a quarterback down in Tennessee. I need 3 or 4 players. And if I can get 2 draft picks extra with what I got, if I can get another first rounder somewhere and keep the first rounder in another year, that's what I'm looking at. Because I don't think Cam Ward – now, Cam Ward may go somewhere else so it's a real fit.
Right.
Again, when you look at who's picking up at the top, those teams are bad. That's why they're picking up there.
Right.
But the fact that the NFL, it's not for long. If you look at these teams that are coming out of nowhere, look at Houston. I mean, 2 years ago, that was a dumpster fire. Now they're building up. They're getting to playoffs. They're getting home playoff games. They're winning the division. Hello.
Yeah. Hello is right. That's your word for the day here of the night. That's Mr. Leo Haggerty, former Coach Scout and now media member of Night Sports Productions, Amped Up Sports. I'm your host, Peter Blake of the Sports Web here on a Monday night. With that being said, let's go around the NFL. Sam Darnold ending up with the Seattle Seahawks. How surprised were you by that move? And of course, the corresponding move before that, Geno Smith to the Raiders. So, how do you evaluate both of those moves and their impact? Do you like Sam Darnold there, only 1 year? You have a short, a small sample size, if you will. Can you do the same with the Seattle Seahawks and no Lockett, no DK Metcalf? And then what do you think about Geno Smith moving on to the Raiders?
Well, he's going to a place where coach is comfortable with him. Geno Smith's going up there and with Pete Carroll.
Right.
Sam Darnold, the best thing to happen to him is he got out of New York. And again, that's just, you talk about Cleveland being a graveyard for quarterbacks. How about New York right now?
Yeah.
And again, the worst thing that I think could happen to me if I was a quarterback is to have the Jets or the Giants draft me only because I got to deal with that New York media every single day. And
Well, yeah.
Peter, it's brutal. We see what happens when they come down here. It's just brutal. And I think the big thing right now, when you're looking at the draft, is are these quarterbacks, Cam Ward or Sanders, can they walk in and are they going to be Peyton Manning 1-16 or 1-14 their first year? Or are they going to be Jaden Daniels, where they take their team to a deep playoff run? And it's a crapshoot. You don't know. You just don't know.
You just don't know. And you look at the Giants situation, it looks like Brian Daboll may be fired. The general manager may be fired. So they're on the hot seat at this point. What do? You go out and get a veteran. Aaron Rodgers has been talked about. Is that a move that you could see where you go with Aaron Rodgers and then you double dip and you go out and get a rookie quarterback like a Cam Ward, you trade up and get him? Is that where you see the Giants going? And does that make sense from their standpoint with their situation right now?
Well, if I'm the Giants, I'm going to try to get Ward or Sanders because that gives me another year. Because I can say, look, I got a rookie quarterback. We're growing. But you got to win one more game than you won the year before. You got to. That has to happen.
Right.
Now, that's like up at Carolina. Dave Canales came in. He's finding out whether he's got a franchise quarterback or not. But they won more games than last year. So they're showing improvement. You can't come in with a quarterback. I don't care if he's a rookie. I don't care if he's a veteran. And if you're not showing improvement, your owner's going to not be happy with you. Because,
I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, that's it. You got to keep the guy who signs your check happy.
Yeah. Well, you do. You have to. You have to do that all across anything, whether it's at your job or in professional sports. What do you make of this situation with Sanders? There's been talk of him not doing very well with interviews. Is that a big deal? Because a lot of people said the reason why he tanked some of those interviews, he didn't want to go to those teams. Of course, Dion being his father, also having some control here. Do you think some teams will shy away from drafting a Shedeur Sanders because he did so poorly with interviews? Or once again, is somebody trying to create a rumor to drop his stock so they can pounce on him during the draft?
Peter, let's go back to when Warren Sapp got drafted.
Knew you were gonna say it.
Bears floated the rumor that Sapp had flunked numerous drug tests.
Right.
Thank God Sam White said, nope, I'm taking this guy.
Mm-hmm.
But the biggest thing you get out of the combine is not on the field. You've got 12, 14, 15 games of game film.
Right.
That's just the last year and previous years. What you want to do is interview this guy. And I think that's a huge thing. That all of a sudden, he's not coming up real well in interviews. And is he tanking them? Maybe. Because why would I want to take somebody who's just, wait a second, this is not good.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, remember Eli Manning told the San Diego Chargers, don't draft me because I'm not going there.
Yes.
And then boom, all of a sudden you get the trade out from there. So yeah, I think that's a viable situation that they're saying, hey, this guy's not interviewing well, but why is he not? And trust me, Dion probably said, hey, if you don't want to go there, just don't give them answers they want.
Talent-wise, when you watch the film with Sanders, what do you think he lacks? What does he need to work on? And how does he compare to a Ward? Because there's been talk also of Jackson Dart surpassing Sanders. Do you agree with that? What do you see on film with Sanders and what he needs to work on? And how does he compare to the top quarterback and Ward?
Well, I'll tell you what, he has amazing stamina because he's the most sacked quarterback in college football because the Colorado line was terrible. And what he really needs to work on is his intermediate passing game outside the numbers.
Mm-hmm.
You know, because that's what they do, Peter. They put you on that hash mark and see if you can throw that out to the wide side. That's where you find out if this guy can throw it or not. And again, when you look at what's coming out of college, when you look at the game that's being played, and it's a totally different, it's not that it's different, it's just at light speed. You know, all of a sudden, you got things that are happening that you haven't seen in college because guess what? You're playing against the best 11 that money can buy for that football team. It's not like you're going to play Vanderbilt every week, and Vanderbilt's pretty good right now.
Right.
But, you know, you're getting Georgia, you're getting Alabama every week in the National Football League. And the biggest thing that he has to do is to be able to process. That's what I thought was the biggest problem with Caleb Williams, is he doesn't process quickly.
Mm-hmm.
And it's because he didn't have to. Because at Southern Cal, he had 3, 4, 5 seconds to make decisions. When he went to the Bears, you didn't get rid of it in 2 seconds. You're getting sacked. And that's what, you know, Shedeur Sanders is going to have to learn. That's what I think Cam Ward does the best, is he's come from, catch this, Peter, now. He played at Incarnate Word in San Antonio, Texas, went to Washington State, and then if Cristobalo didn't show up to games, Miami may have been undefeated, because I've never seen so many coaching blunders in my life that came out of Miami. And Cam Ward was the whole difference. And Peter, I remember I came on this show and I told you, I said, watch Cam Ward. He's going to be the best quarterback in the country. And people said, well, how do you know that? I said, because I stayed up till 2 a.m. to watch him play out of Washington State. And he could play.
Well,
so
that's
the biggest thing.
That's
Peter,
why you're the scout's eye here.
Yeah, we're going to have to call in a left-hander, Peter. I got to get on the USF. The women are playing tonight in Tulane in the tournament. And then I got an 11:30 Zoom to get on with Coach Fernandez.
My friend, as always, one of the busiest, hardworking men in the business, Leo Haggerty, former Coach Scout and now media member of Night Sports Productions and Amped Up Sports. Thanks a lot for your time.
We will talk to you Wednesday, my friend.
All right, sounds good. Wednesday at 9 o'clock, as we will make sure that we give him some time to do things that he has to do, which is, do the Zoom meeting, do this, do that. Open phone line, 727-255-0391. It's 727-255-0391. No, I don't have a sore throat. I'm keeping my voice down for the roommates. It's the Sports Web on a Monday. Pass rusher Josh Sweat is reportedly headed to Arizona on a 4-year, $76.4 million deal. And then a blockbuster move today, Jaden Daniels. You have to be happy about this. Not only getting Deebo Samuel on the outside, Laramie Tunsil, offensive tackle. Acquire left tackle Tunsil to be on that line. That's exactly how you help your quarterback out. The Panthers made some moves today. J.C. Horn, the new highest paid defensive back in NFL history. It was said that they were going to sign defensive tackle Milton Williams, but it looks like he's headed to the New England Patriots after all, and Shavarius Ward to the Colts. So, again, open phone lines if you want to call up. Somebody was just trying to call, and then they didn't call, so call back there. Some other news and notes around the NFL. Pro Bowl cornerback Byron Murphy Jr. reportedly agrees to a 3-year, $66 million deal with the Minnesota Vikings to come back there. Let's go out to Ed. Ed, welcome to the Evolution.
There?
Yeah, I'm here, man. What's up?
Are you on the show?
I'm live on the show, my friend. Yes.
All right.
Yes.
I heard they got a new pass rusher today.
They do. Hassan Reddick, 1 year, $14 million, $12 million guaranteed, 59 sacks in his career. What do you think about that move?
59 sacks in his career?
Yes.
What are the cons?
Well, the cons are that he held out last year, only had one sack for the Jets. But as I've explained this to people, people have kind of, given me some resistance on it, and that's okay. He was promised a new contract with the Jets. And he decided to sit out, probably got some bad advice and wasn't productive and was a nuisance, if you will, and fell out of favor. And that's the reason why the Bucs were able to get him at the rate that he was going for. Because you look at around the league, Khalil Mack's getting $18 million a year. You just had Chase Young signed 3 years, $51 million, which is $17 million. And these pass rushers, they're not growing on trees, and they're getting big-time money. Trey Hendrickson will probably get big-time money. Myles Garrett got big-time money from the Cleveland Browns. So that's the end thing. That's what you're getting. Getting quarterbacks, you're getting edge rushers, you're getting guys that can get after quarterback, and they're getting paid big-time money. So in the grand scheme of things, I understand there's some concerns by Bucs fans, and they're very valid. I understand there's some concerns by Harry the Greek with him holding out. But if a man was promised a contract extension, he decided to hold out, I can understand it to that point. And then on top of it, he is a proven pass rusher. Furthermore, he has an opportunity, right? Plus, he has an opportunity to earn another contract if he proves himself, because we know if you prove yourself with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, guess what? You get a contract extension, or you get a contract extension from somebody else. So I think it's a win-win move by the Bucs.
Yep. I like it.
I like it too. What else? Do you like?
I really like the fact that they were able to re-sign Godwin on a cheap.
Correct. Correct.
Which is good. So maybe they'll be able to pick up some more help for their defense. I honestly think that their offense is good.
Right.
I mean, really good. Not just good, but really good. We got young Bucky early picking it up. We have a young receiver picking it up. I think we're really good right now. Even if Godwin's only 70% of what he was, I think we're really good.
Well, I definitely think you're good. I think the offense is going to be that much better because, again, you were able to re-sign Bredeson as your left guard, so you keep the offensive line intact. I get it. You lose your offensive coordinator, but you're able to keep the same offensive system intact. And then on top of it, you have Evans, you have Godwin coming back, and you have, once again, an emerging Jalen McMillan and Bucky Irving and Rashad White and Sean Tucker. Oh, my. And by the way, Cade Otton looked pretty good, too. So,
yeah, I mean, I really like Bucky Irving. I mean, as far as I'm concerned, White is, not even worth having around, honestly.
Well, I think he's worth having around. He can catch the ball out of the backfield. He can definitely pass protect. He's been productive, not as productive as a lot of Bucs fans would like. I don't think he's number one running back in this league, but as a change of pace back, I think he's valuable to this team unless the Bucs decide to move on and go with Tucker. But in order to go with Tucker, first and foremost, you're going to have to learn how to pass protect consistently. You're going to have to learn how to not put the ball on the ground, which he did last year. And you're going to have to catch the ball consistently in order to be considered a change of pace back and take White's job. That's what White is doing right now over Tucker. That's the reason why Tucker is higher on the depth chart, if that makes sense.
Yeah, White's been putting the ball on the ground.
No, White hasn't. I mean, White put the ball on the ground. He hasn't been putting it on the ground as much as Tucker. Tucker put the ball on the ground.
I haven't seen Tucker that much, so.
Well, Tucker put the ball on the ground a little bit too much.
Okay.
Okay.
Well, in my opinion, you put the ball on the ground, you make those kind of mistakes, you don't have a job.
Well, that's the reason why he's the third running back on this team. But I will tell you that there have been reports out there, and take them for what it's worth, but there are some in that Buccaneer organization that are very excited about Sean Tucker and his potential. And if he's able to progressively get better, which we know that players are able to do year by year, he has an opportunity to take White's job. Just throwing it out there.
Well, I think that anybody who can produce more in between, especially in between tackles, he's all right outside, but in between the tackles, he's terrible. And anybody that can do that could definitely take White's job.
Well, we'll see. We'll see what happens. It's a good problem to have. I'm not ready to get rid of talent. Keep this talent in that room, and until the Bucs decide otherwise, I'm ready to keep.
How old is this outside rusher, by the way?
30 years old.
Oh, well, I guess we do need some.
I mean, 30 years old is not that old, man. I mean, he's still a productive player. Again, he had 1 sack, but he's 2 years removed from 11 sacks. He's 3 years removed from 16 sacks. I mean, he's a double-digit sack artist, and with the talent, the young talent on this team and the veteran talent on this line, especially Vea and Cansey in the middle, I think the sky's the limit for this Reddick move. I really do.
So he's an outside linebacker?
Outside linebacker edge, yes.
Nice.
In the 3-4, yes. Mm-hmm.
All right. So when does the schedule get released?
Schedule is in a couple months. I don't think it's anytime soon.
Okay.
Yeah, I think it's in May, actually. You have the draft first, I believe. That's correct. You have free agency, then you have the draft, and you have the schedule release.
So who else do you think we should go after?
I mean, we'll have to see how much money they restructure, because you could still make some moves, but you could definitely make a move at corner, maybe not a starting corner, but maybe a depth piece. You could definitely make a move for a veteran linebacker. You could go in that direction. I think those are some of the moves you could make, and who knows, maybe you make a move for a safety. At the end of the day, though, I think you can make a move for a corner or a linebacker. I would expect them to do that.
What about Levante David?
Levante David is coming back. 1 year, $10 million, $9 million guaranteed. That was announced on Friday.
Nice.
So there you go.
I worked so much, dude. I missed the move.
Bro, I got you.
I
got you, man. How is work going? Is work going good for you?
Oh, it's going good, bro.
You know, this is what I do. This is my job. Besides the sales job and Uber, this is what I do. I keep you guys up to date.
Oh, you Uber too? I used to Uber too.
When I got my Tesla working, thank God it's working again. Yeah, but I do some Uber on the side. I sell hot dogs too whenever I get the opportunity. I'm just joking. It seems like
I used to like Uber, and I just found that it costs a lot to Uber.
Wow.
And all the great money you make. I mean, I used to make great money, like $1,000, $2,000 a day on the holidays, something like that.
Right.
But you put a lot of miles on the car and you end up paying for it down the line.
Well,
so
I've like I said, I got a Tesla. It's fully electric, so it saves me on gas. It only has about 34.
If you got a Tesla, you're set. Uber loves Tesla.
Well, there you go. There you go. So I'm set.
Yeah.
All right, Ed, what else?
All right, that'll do it, man. Have a good night.
All right, man. Appreciate it. Use that second call. All right, good stuff.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, man. I got you. I got you on the update. I know there's a lot of people on that, are working right now and don't get a chance to catch up on Bucs news. And we got you covered here on the Sports Web. Open phone line, 727-255-0391. It's 727-255-0391. Let's go out to Instagram Live. The trainer, Mike. Amazing show, guys. Thank you very much, sir. Appreciate you. Always an opportunity to have sponsors. If you guys out there want to sponsor your business, we'll play some commercials. I like to play some commercials. Go 2.5 hours with guests, but an hour and a half with no commercial free, and you get over 300,000 views on Facebook. There is an opportunity. We are growing on LinkedIn Live. We are growing on Instagram Live. We are growing on Twitter and YouTube and all those platforms. Once again, Facebook stars are out there. If you love the content, and YouTube super chats, like and subscribe to the Sports Web. We'll read the rest of these comments. We'll give you a mock draft on a mock draft Monday, and we'll wrap it up here. Over 2.5 hours of Bucs content, little Rays talk too. Once again, tune into my partner show tomorrow, Mr. JP Peterson of the JP Peterson Show, there from 10 to noon, as he will give you the latest in Bucs news and, of course, Rays news. Having it dead on. Congratulations to JP. You absolutely been killing it. No matter what anybody says, you were right from the very beginning, and it looks like, partner, you're going to be right again. So good stuff. Let's see here. So all these corners getting signed, we read that. People need to stop doubting Jason, the Bucs organization. Players want to be here because they know it's a destination now. Agree. Reddick is a good signing. Let's go out to this guy right here. Let's go out to Sun Devil Dave.
Great
Dave,
job.
yeah, great job to you. Well, welcome to the
How you
Evolution.
doing, bud?
I'm doing good, man. Doing good. Getting ready to read all these comments here.
I know you got tons of comments.
Yes.
You know, we're talking about free agency, NFL.
Yes,
I
we
know it's
are.
important.
Yes.
But can we just sneak in a couple minutes for Crybaby Luka? Or no?
Well, you can do that. You can also sneak in, for LeBron James, who I don't know. It looked like he got shot over the weekend there with Jason Tatum running by him and doing his best overacting job with flopping.
Yeah.
I don't know who's a bigger flopper. I continue to say this. I think it's definitely LeBron over a guy like Karl Malone. It's ridiculous, and he's hurt once again. So
I thought what happened with him, and there was a confrontation with him and Stephen Smith.
Yeah, Stephen A. Smith, which, by the way,
I thought that was
listen.
Yeah, I mean, look, I think LeBron's a great father, great husband. I understand that. I think the bottom line is that I think Savannah probably said something to LeBron's like, "Hey, man, you can't have him talking about our son like that." So I think that LeBron had to step up.
I mean, it's free game. He didn't make it personal. He just said the kid's game is not good. It's not.
Right.
And he also said the reason why he's got a spot on the Lakers is because of his father, which is true.
Right. And LeBron, he's protective of his son. I know that he went after, I think it was Gottlieb, who's the commentator who's a coach, and he's like 2-15 or something with a college team.
Doug Gottlieb.
Yeah. So then LeBron trolled him like, yeah, nice record, blah blah blah, because Gottlieb was very critical of Bronny.
Of course.
So it's just crazy. But Luka, I mean, I think the bottom line is, I mean, his numbers before that Boston game is still really, really, really good. I think he's still averaging 28, 8, and 7.
Sure.
Now he was minus 19 plus minus in that Celtic game because of the turnovers.
Correct.
And now I think, as much as I still think Luka's an amazing player, top 5 player in the league, franchise player.
When he wants to be.
Now you see why the Mavericks GM said, okay, we're getting rid of this guy, because when he has to take on like Jaylen Brown and Tatum in these games, later on if they meet in the finals, he turns the ball over, his back's hurting. I mean, he struggled.
He's out of shape. He's an out of shape superstar.
I think it is.
Right.
I think it's because I think you bring up a good point. I think he is not. He's 26 years old.
Yes.
So the calf injury, you recover from that. Now his back's hurting. So I think now the Mavericks GM's like, okay, well this is why we got rid of him.
Well, you got Mr. Glass in return, so that didn't necessarily
Right.
look that
Glass for
great.
glass.
It didn't look good at all. 32,
No.
aging star. I get it. Anthony Davis has had his days, but he's seen his best days. You get that in return. I think you could have tried to get more. You give up on him. I think you got to get a coach that can get inside his head and say, listen, do you want to be a superstar? Do you want to be the top superstar in the league? If you want to be, how bad do you want it? You need to get in shape. You need to improve your game defensively, offensively. Stop turning over the ball. I mean, you're willing to accept that, but is he able? Is he ever going to take that next step to get better? And that's what you have to. Right.
Well, look,
that's
LeBron
what the Lakers
there,
are banking on at this point.
Right. I'm thinking LeBron would help him out. Now he's got 2 weeks, maybe 2 to 3 weeks, where he's going to be the man, because LeBron's going to be out for a few weeks with that groin injury.
Right.
So now Luka gets to do, and you bring up a good point because it is a paradigm shift. It's like when I watched The Last Dance, when Jordan had, I think it was Collins, who was the coach before?
Doug Collins. Yeah, Doug Collins.
So
yes.
I think Collins, the perception we had is that Jordan was like the man. Me, worry about you're the guy. When they did the change and they brought in our boy from LA, the guru.
Phil Jackson, yeah. Zen Master. Yes.
Jackson basically taught Jordan how to become more of a team player, how to facilitate more, how to get the best out of maybe subpar, maybe average players.
Correct.
Make them acceptable.
To that point, Jordan also took it upon himself because he was getting his face beat in by the Pistons with their physical play and all the other teams in the Eastern Conference to make his body bigger, to depend on his teammates.
Yes. He gained, 15, 20 pounds.
Correct.
Yeah, you're right. He had made changes. So he had to bulk himself up. They had a coaching change, a paradigm shift, a change of philosophy, how to become, more of a team player. And if Luka can embrace the conditioning, embrace of, being the man, getting his body in shape and doing the things he needs to do to get him to the finals, we'll see what happens. This next 2 weeks, we'll see how it plays out because he's going to be the star on the floor. So we'll see how it all works out.
Agree. What else?
So I'll save the rest for Wednesday. They had a wild Raw tonight. We'll talk about that on Wednesday.
I didn't get a chance to see it, but I have to see the highlight. Oh, wild Raw.
So we'll talk on it Wednesday. Great job again. I'll see you at work tomorrow.
Great job, buddy. Great job. Buddy. Yeah, good stuff there. All right.
Oh, yeah.
All right, let's go out to the comments. We'll read the rest of these and we'll get out of here for the night unless there's any more phone calls. Good job, GM. Welcome, Chris Godwin. Let's go Tampa Bay. Let's go out to Alan Curtis Jr. Outstanding work. Great insight. Thank you very much, Alan. Appreciate you as always.
Oh, yeah.
Let's go out to Mr. Frankie in Wisconsin, the Hill Mark. What's on your mind tonight? How do you feel about your Tampa Bay Buccaneers in a banner day, re-signing Chris Godwin, re-signing Ben Bredeson, and getting a new edge rusher and Hassan Reddick? Welcome to the Evolution.
Well, the Hassan Reddick thing, we'll see how it pans out.
Okay.
You know what I mean? We'll see how it works. Okay. Chris Godwin, thank the Lord.
Did you have any doubts? I mean? You watched this show enough. I told you not to worry about it, did I not?
Hey, I wasn't worried. Okay. I really was not worried that he was going to leave.
Mm-hmm.
But
are you there, Frankie? Well, Frankie is silent, so you have to call back at this point. I don't know what happened tonight there on the phone line, so we'll get you back. Yeah, let's jump out and overpay, says Mike COC. David says, so who do you think we pick in the first round now? I mean, now you're not locked in. You're not locked into an edge rusher. You can go out and get an edge rusher. You can go out and get a linebacker. Maybe you address the corner. Let's go out to Frankie. Frankie, go ahead.
I don't know what happened.
I don't either.
I don't know what happened there.
I don't either.
I don't even know where you lost me, but the basic stick it in your face. He took less money staying in Tampa than to go anywhere else.
Mm-hmm.
You know, the big shocker to me is where DK landed. I was shocked.
But the Pittsburgh Steelers paying money now. How about that, huh?
Yeah, you know, not gonna lie, if we didn't get Godwin back, I was really hoping, you know, maybe we could see DK. But we got Godwin, so things are good. But, you know, I called it. You guys were talking basketball earlier.
A little bit.
No, that sport's dead to me now.
Why is
Seriously.
Why is that?
We traded Luka. Why would we trade arguably the greatest player in basketball right now, and we're going to trade him for nothing?
Well, you didn't trade him for anything. You're exactly right. I think the concerns were that he's not able to stay in shape. David says, he has a bad back. He's not good defensively. Is he going to progressively get better? Is he going to stay in shape? So I think there were concerns there that they didn't want to sign him to a max deal and spend all that money on a player that's not committed to getting better. I understand it, although I do think Luka is highly talented. You just got to get a coach in there that can get in his head and get in his ass. Excuse my language. That's what you got to do. Put a fire under his ass and say, listen, do you want to be the top superstar in the league because you got the potential to do it? Or do you want to continue just to be this guy that, is good offensively, shows flashes of brilliance, but is never consistent, can't play defense, and turns over the ball way too much? I think that's the questions that need to be asked. So I understand where Dallas Maverick fans are coming from. Then I also understand where the front office is coming from.
Well, see, and here's the thing. If you had good coaching, like you guys were talking about earlier with Phil Jackson.
Right.
Phil Jackson is the GOAT of coaching.
Right.
Like there's just no doubt, ifs, ands, and buts about it.
Mm-hmm.
That man could make anybody
Mm-hmm.
do into anything.
Right.
Seriously. So, but if you had a coach, he could probably turn Luka into something. And if you really look at, like, if me being a Dallas Mavericks fan, and I really was like, dude, I'm pissed about this.
Get it?
Like, literally pissed. It's like, dude, and if you look at the downward spiral of the things that happened after we traded Luka, it's like we traded Luka for Anthony Davis. Anthony Davis, first game on, boom, he gets a season-ending injury. Then somebody else gets an ending injury. Now, like, 2 players are demanding to be traded. And if what is it? Jason Kidd was the one that was saying, I want Luka to be traded.
Mm-hmm.
Why? Because Luka wasn't listening to Jason Kidd. So if Luka, your star player, is not listening to your coach, why are you going to keep your coach? Get rid of your coach.
Well, but obviously, Jason Kidd has found a way and they believe in him over Luka. I don't know what to say about that. I think it'll turn out most likely to be a bad move.
I'm a Jason Kidd guy. Like, dude, I had my Mavericks kid jersey when he got drafted.
Right. Well,
but I'm just saying, Luka, like, this is going to go down as one of the bonehead trades in sports history.
It's got an opportunity to be like that if, again, Luka decides that he wants to be one of the greatest players in the game instead of what he's been lately, which is inconsistent, if that's fair.
Well, we'll see what happens.
Yep.
We really will.
Yep.
Like, I believe in my heart of hearts he's the future of the NBA.
All right. Well, he's got to play better defense. He can't
see.
turn over the ball, and he's got to get in shape. That's for sure.
Well, he's got to. If he has a coach that can get inside his head, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And we turn like, do some Mighty Ducks. Be like, play 2-way hockey. You know what I mean?
Well, it's Jordan rules. It goes back to Jordan. Jordan got better defensively. Jordan got better physically, and he started to depend on his teammates instead of trying to score all the time. He got his teammates involved, and that's when he became the greatest basketball player, in my opinion, of all time.
I really think he is. There is nobody better than Michael Jordan,
and that's the reason
honestly,
why.
Like, and in that regard, basketball back in the 90s. When we were kids, is a lot different than it is today. In the 90s, basketball was a lot more physical. They were in the paint a lot more often. You were getting a lot more like big, solid, hardcore dunks. You weren't shooting threes as much. And now it's, let's run real fast, shoot a 3. Run real fast, shoot a 3. Run real fast, shoot a 3.
It's a different game, my friend. I think we lost you again. Appreciate it, Frankie. As always, appreciate the call. Let's go back out to the comments, and we'll wrap it up for the night here. Evening, gents. The Godwin signing was news I needed today after a bit of a rough weekend. Stash, hope you hang in there, my friend. Yeah! LVD, Savasi Dennis will be the starting middle linebacker. Christopher Cole, Cup to be released from the Rams, and the Jaguars could be in the mix. I definitely think that's a possibility, especially with being familiar with Liam Cohen and that offense there. Leo, take off the Bears sweater. Believe that's Harry the Greek. Got him wrong there, Jamie. You're right, Greek. Jamie Perrine signed with the Bengals, which was reported by Aaron Wilson on Twitter that he signed with the Bucs. And, of course, Jason Light having his receipt out. No, we did not. David, do you think we need to bring in secondary next to Vita? I know Cansey has been doing good of late, but do you still think we need to bring in that dog on the defensive line, or will Reddick be the guy? I think Reddick's going to be that guy. Cansey is a dog. Dave says, I have to disagree with Harry. I think Godwin did turn down $20 million. I think he and the wife love Tampa Bay. Wasn't Harry that said happy wife, happy life? That was me. Happy wife, happy life. All four guys across are dogs. Yaga, Vita, Cansey, Reddick. Good comment.
Oh, yeah.
Good comment by Dave there.
Woo!
Let's go back out. Good stuff there. Abraham Rashad White is our Debo Samuel. Okay, good stuff.
Oh, yeah.
We need to keep all three running backs. Completely agree.
Woo!
Let's go out to Carl here. What direction do we go with our first pick in the draft? You could go edge. You could go linebacker. We'll get back to that in a moment to see what the pundits, the national pundits, are saying from the draft publications there. Tulio says the reason you should feel comfortable with Reddick is that he has no choice but to play his best. If not, then his value will drop considerably and will lose his chance to ever get another big contract. Exactly. Mike says we need secondary. Thank you for the comment, Mike.
Oh, yeah.
Let's go out to Eric. Hell yeah, go Bucs.
Let's go!
Tom says, hey, Harold, Ryan Poles sucks. I think Ryan Poles has done a good job. I'll say linebacker or cornerback, a physical corner, certainly a possibility. Marine, appreciate that.
Oh, yeah.
Eric says, yep.
Yes!
Eric again says, and Bucs offensive line, I think they're set there.
Yes!
Eric re-sign, absolutely. Tom, Kevin Warren is running the show. They better put a great product out there for the new Arlington Heights Stadium. Tulio says Reddick will not risk his only chance to get a big contract. Correct.
Yes!
Let's go out to Mike here. Jason Light is a damn good GM. Can we say Jason Light is a great GM? Can we say that Jason Light is a Ring of Honor GM? Let's go out to Dave here. Never worry about having good depth at that position. Bigga says, yo guys, long time, haven't caught the live show. Checking in. Great day in Tampa Bay. Three-headed wide receiver monster in full effect with Godwin back and a bona fide veteran edge rusher. LFG, let's go.
Let's go!
Jason Light, MVP. Glazers, MVP. Mike says the Perrine signing is questionable. It's not real. It's fake. That was fake news. Jamie says Samaje Perrine did not sign here. It was fake. Yes, it was. You got to watch out. Dave says Tampa Bay drafting a linebacker in the first round. Book it. I like it.
Oh, yeah.
Big S says, I think linebacker is the move at 19 for the Bucs now. Try to find a successor for LVD. Could be.
Yes!
Let's go out to Jamie here. Bucs going to draft a kicker at 19. Always on. Sarah brought the passion, as she always does on this show. Let's go out to Jamie here. Worf says signed long-term. He is, but he could still restructure that deal to help the Bucs out, especially with that big-time contract. David says the Tampa Bay Lightning just posted that the University of Tampa hockey team just won their first AAU national championship ever. Amazing. Let's go out to Christopher Cole here. Light said that Reddick was embarrassed by his actions and wants to prove he's not done yet. There you go. That's what I'm talking about.
Yeah!
It's a prove-it contract. That's why it's 1 year, $14 million. Tom says everyone's saying that running back out of Boise or trading down. Thank you, Tom. Dave says Bucs are drafting Jalen Walker out of Georgia for sure. If he's there at 19, certainly a possibility. Jim says it's good to have running backs, no ones that fumble and cost you the game. Biggest says Rashad White actually had the best rushing average of his career last year, 4.3 yards per carry. I know it was because he was underutilized less, but he is still serviceable. Agree with that.
Yes!
Let's go out to Jim. White is no Debo. Biggest says, I do like Tucker as well. I was one of the biggest supporters last year. He's good size. I believe it's the fastest 40 time of the running backs. But as a caller said, he can never have enough capable backs. Mike COC, Dean can't even cover a dig route without getting hurt. Definitely, that's the problem. The availability option there, and the Bucs could move on from him with that big-time salary or once again restructure the deal to help them out and hold on to him. Dean needs to have a restructured deal. He has talent, but too expensive on the cap. Agree.
Oh, yeah.
Anthony says keep Dean at depth. Agree with that. David To me, White is our only all-around back. He can catch, block. If I'm coaching, it's 4th and 1. I'm handing it to White on the goal line. I would hand it to Bucky Irving or Tucker, but definitely Irving.
Oh, yeah.
Dave, the Bucs aren't drafting a running back. This will be a defense, maybe some O-line draft. The offense is good for a reason. The Marine says Dean was a paper doll so much last season. Hurt too many times. That's right. I'm not sold on Savasier Dennis either. That's okay, Mike. Thanks a lot for tuning in. Jim says Dean is good. He has the potential in the world, but can he live up to that potential, Jim? That will be the big-time key. Re-sign Bryce Hall for depth. Certainly possible. Did get hurt. What's his injury situation? How much will he be back? How much will it cost you? We shall see. Barrett was already re-signed. I don't think that was a 2-year deal. I thought it was a 1-year deal. Maybe I'm wrong about that. I did not think he was still under contract. Nick says, nice shirt, Harry. Bigga, that's why I have to go check the stats. White has the best 40 time, 4.48, followed by Irving, 4.55, and Tucker, 4.57, but they're all different skill set they bring to the table.
Oh, yeah.
Bigga says Kobe Bryant, maybe. The corner that the caller was mentioning, I know I've been hearing his name floating around. Okay. Eric says Bucs need to sign a corner. Jim, Reddick has nothing to prove to anyone. He will have something to prove, especially with that number of 1 year, $14 million with $12 million. He wants to earn that big time contract. He wants to get paid, as a lot of these edge rushers have gotten paid today. He has all kinds of things to prove, especially being a Tampa Bay Buccaneer. He wants to prove it. Reddit, Biggest says spelled his name wrong. Kobe Bryant from Kansas. That has been talked about. Good for the Bucs also that Atlanta lost their starting center. Thanks, Bears, and also lose Grady Jarrett. So a bad day for the Atlanta Falcons. Let's go out to Jim here. Light is the best GM in the NFL. Eric, Jason Light, better not even close. Todd Bowles, give his roses. Okay. Eric Light gets roses too. Eric, again, Bucs draft what they like now. We've talked about that. Biggest says, well, Light has done a great job, but you have to take out the draft class after the Super Bowl. We're picking 32nd, but the draft class was underwhelming. But overall, Light has been great.
Oh, yeah.
Let's go out to Tom. Bears need a corner with one of those 2 second-rounders. Trade down in the first for more picks. Certainly possible. Good stuff there, Tom. I'm loving these moments. The Bucs are not a joke anymore. Eric says facts.
Yes!
Let's go out to Carl, best GM in the history of the Bucs.
Victory!
Let's go out to Bigga here. Tampa Bay Buccaneers 2021 draft class featuring Joe Tryon-Shoyinka, Kyle Trask, Robert Hansey, who, by the way, moved on to the Jacksonville Jaguars as he's going to get an opportunity. Jalen Darden, KJ Brett, Chris Wilcox. Yeah, Grant Stern. That was rough. Biggest says Hansey, arguably Trask were the best from the class, and that is not saying much. Bobby says, great job, Jason. We do need secondary.
Oh, yeah.
Eric says, let's trade cornerback now.
Yes! Yes!
Let's go out to Bobby. Talk about the low grades that players gave the Bucs organization. Yeah, that's a players thing. I don't really understand all that. I get it. It's, trying to please the players. At the end of the day, it goes around the National Football League. Smells coming out of the locker room, this, that, and the other thing. But when it comes to coaching, Todd Bowles got a B+. Just saying. Wouldn't mind. Kyle would be nice. I think you're talking about the fullback there from San Francisco, as it looks like he's going to be cut. Crazy Bucs got F on grades. Insane. Realtor David Zuzman. I really hate Hassan Reddick. Don't like Brederson's contract. If you're going to pay $7 million per year, I would have kept Hansey. Send Graham Barton the left guard position where he belongs. I just no. You keep Barton at the same position. He was able to learn that new position. They perform well. I thought Bredeson was good. Hansey, that's the reason why you go with Bredeson in the first place. That's the reason why you move on from him, Bob, there with Barton, because it was an upgrade. Keep the offensive line intact. It was one of your strongest units last year. Hassan Reddick signing was a very bad one. We'll see. Signing is expensive, high risk, very low reward. There are at least 5 other better options. But once again, you get him at $14 million, only $12 million guaranteed, 59 sacks. Sacks don't grow on trees. You're talking about Chase Young, who just re-signed with the New Orleans Saints. I get it. He's younger, only has 22 sacks and hasn't been able to stay healthy and not consistent. You get a guy that has 59 sacks. I'm happy with that. We'll see. Can't give long-term deals right now. It's best if we do 1 to 3 year deals. See a Harry, Trevor, terrible deal for the Saints signing Chase Young. I don't think it was a great deal at all. Are both hosts wearing pants? I hope so. Ray, Peter's the dealer on the other line. JS Torres, are you taking calls not football related, or is the show called Football Web, not Sports Web? It's called Sports Web. We're taking all calls here, but we're definitely taking calls when it comes to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers and free agency signings. So we are taking calls tonight. Are we supposed to believe that Manfred has the power to make Stu his bitch? Strongest MLB commissioner since Kensaw Landis. Yes, he is. I definitely think he does. And it's not just the commissioner, it's other owners. They're tired of paying for the raise. They're tired of revenue sharing with the team that doesn't invest in their own product. That's what it comes down to. Major League Baseball is tired of this game. They're tired of it. That's the reason why other owners are getting on board with them selling it. And I can't wait. Thank God, baby Jesus. Please sell this team to an ownership that gives a damn, and we'll try. That's it. Something good on with the phone. Go Verizon. Roger Shu, you call in about any sports. Thank you, Tribal Troll.
Acknowledge me.
Jim says, I think we did good so far in free agency. Yes, for the one day. Thank you for taking my call. Absolutely. You're welcome. The guy plays too much Madden. Laugh out loud. Jim says our fans are never happy. That's okay, Jim. We drafted several edge rushers. We need to focus on secondary and linebackers. These fans play too much Madden, says Jim.
Oh, yeah.
Christopher Cole, Stu is lining his pockets with the revenue sharing money. Bingo. There it is. And that's the reason why the owners are on board with him selling to another owner. And they are trying to get the commissioner, which, by the way, works for the owners. He works for the owners. And if there's many owners that are going to the commissioner saying, get this guy out of here because he doesn't care about the team. He wants to hold the Bay Area hostage because he hasn't got a new stadium. And he still wants revenue sharing from the big market teams like the Yankees and Red Sox. Get a new owner that cares about this team. San Francisco releasing fullback Kyle Jurzik. I agree. Chris Cole. Dave says, do people forget about Braswell? He's playing behind JTS last year. This guy has potential. The Bucs are now drafting a linebacker in the first round.
Oh, yeah.
As we're almost to 3 hours here, I don't think Jamel Dean would take a pay cut when Carlton Davis just signed $20 million per year contract. But that's a team overpaying like the New England Patriots. That's what they're going to do. They're a bad team. They're a bad franchise. You have to overpay to get somebody to play for that team right now. Donald says, great day today. Absolutely. Let's go out to Sarah here. Who do you think is going to get the franchise tag? No franchise tag is available. They surpassed that. The Bucs are not going to use it. They didn't use it this year. LBD was doing everything to make up for everyone else. Sarah says the Bucs always capitalize on the other team's weak draft picks. Keep it coming. We will take it. Go Bucs. Jem, thank you, buddy. Obviously, I don't know all the rules. Go Bucs. It's okay. We will teach you here, Sarah. Joy says hi. Hi to you. We're with the Special Olympic athletes. That's very cool. Thank you for tuning in.
Oh, yeah.
Fans of the Bucs. Very cool. Thank you, Joy, for tuning in. Let's go out to We Are the Thunder, Tampa Bay Lightning podcast. We got to definitely get you on here to talk about all the Lightning moves they made last week. Amazing. It's the evolution. It is. The Bucs are evolving. Finally got the edge rusher. Just need a few more pieces. Mighty Ducks, finally some hockey talk on this channel. We got hockey talk. We need some hockey talk from you guys. If you want to schedule something on Wednesday night, feel free. Christopher Cole, Bredeson contract has no void years, no signing bonus, just 2 years, $15.7 million the third year. There you go. Good deal. Light has doubled down on positions in the draft before. Are we getting 2 linebackers, 2 cornerbacks this year? May happen. May certainly happen, especially if they're ready to move on from Dean. Even if they're not ready to move on from Dean, they may want to upgrade and they'll have the opportunity. And that's where, if you want to and you don't have a player on the board, or you think the player that's on the board will be there a few picks later, that's where you could trade down and take advantage of a team to get extra picks. And Jason Light has done that throughout his history. Chase Young deal was an amazing deal for the Saints. Only 26 years old, $17 million per year, will age very well for them. Only 22 sacks. I understand where you're coming from. $17 million for 22 sacks. The potential is there. The potential has always been there. He hasn't been able to stay healthy. He has not been the same player ever since his rookie year. I disagree with you. I think the Bucs got the better end of that stick with the Reddick deal. This is better signing the Reddick for 1 year, 14. Disagree, David. Sorry. Chase Young has gotten worse through his career. Reddick's gotten better. A 1 year deal was smart. They have nothing to lose because Reddick will be motivated to get the big money. You know I'm right, says hi, Peter. And you know I'm right again. We need to draft a linebacker in the first round quickly. Let's go through this, and we will wrap this up as we were at 3 hours exactly here live on Facebook, YouTube, Instagram Live, Twitter, and LinkedIn Live. Charles Davis of NFL.com says Tutoria McMillan, wide receiver. He's Mike Evans, light in size, stature, and play style. McMillan fits the Bucs scheme perfectly. According to CBS's Sports' Garrett Podell, he says Jahad Campbell at number 19, the linebacker from Alabama. Buccaneer defensive pillar Levante David is 35 years old. Yes, he did re-sign on a 1 year deal, but Tampa drafts his replacement, the 2024 first team All-SEC linebackers, 117 tackles last season. Were the most in the season at Alabama since current Houston Texans head coach D'Amico Ryans 126 in 2003. Pretty good company. The Draft Network's Justin Mello says edge Jalen Walker out of Georgia, linebacker edge. Bucs GM Jason Light believes in consistently investing in the trenches. He's set to lose Joe Tryon-Shoyinka, Anthony Nelson, the free agency. Jalen Walker has front seven flexibility at the off-the-ball linebacker, traditional edge rusher. Walker is flexible, explosive, would quickly make an impact playing next to the already stellar supporting cast in place. Pro Football Focus says Max Chadwick. Nick Imawari, South Carolina safety. The Buccaneers have needs at linebacker in their secondary. The safety can help at both. Athletic box safety who measures at 6'3", 220. Had a freakish performance at the combine and would be a versatile chess piece for head coach Todd Bowles to move around in the defense. And the Athletics' Nick Baumgartner says edge Donovan Uzuracru, hopefully I pronounce his name right, from Boston College. He is the type of player who climbs your draft board every single time you watch one of his games. He plays with great effort and deep, polished set of pass rush moves. He lives for the little details that turn pressures into sacks. He has a terrific combine as the only defensive lineman to run a 3-cone of under 7 seconds at 6.94. Thanks a lot to all the guests for the night. Harry the Greek, professional handicapper extraordinaire, the legend himself, Leo Haggerty, from a Coach Scout and now media member of Night Sports Productions and Amped Up Sports. We'll be back on Wednesday night at 8 o'clock here. Special early time. We changed the time. Like and subscribe to the Sports Web on YouTube. Friend me on Facebook at Peter H. Blake. Facebook stars are open. YouTube super chats, especially if you like the content. And do 3 things. We got to keep it down. Bring your passion. Bring your excitement. Just don't bring any nonsense. I'm your host, Peter Blake, your Rolex reporter. What time is it? It's my time. And for fans of the Sports Web and the Tampa Bay sports fan, it's your time. We'll see you next time on the evolution of Sports Talk Television. As always, go Bucs.